I was muted. There we go. Hi, everybody. bsquiklehausen here. Let me bring up Do Not Eat's audio. How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you?
You're doing pretty loud, actually.
Oh.
That's my stealth audio test.
Should I put mine down or should you
I got
bring
it.
yours? Okay. I better mute this. Oh, it is muted on my end. Thank God. Otherwise we have a disaster show.
That would be a disaster.
Yes.
All right. I think we're all set. The music just stopped coming out of the game, though. So, all right.
Welcome everyone to where we're going to play the Transport Fever Tycoon or Transport Fever 2 campaign. It's going to be a time. I don't know if it'll be good or bad, but it will be a time.
It will be a time. All right. Editor's note: the campaigns aim to portray key milestones in the history of transportation as vividly as possible in their historical context. They deal with dark chapters in the world's events, whereby the corresponding episodes are never supposed to be downplayed and the victims with them never ridiculed. After art should be left by the wayside, the history of transportation was often and still is a story of conflict, oppression, science, great suffering. Value judgments do not reflect the developer's own values. Sure.
That is just the silliest disclaimer they had to put in there. I played the goddamn Ceausescu scenario, and it's just, it's some flowery, weird language, and like that's it. Like there's nothing like actually controversial in here. It was really like anyway. This is maybe this is a rant for later, but.
Oh, it's not sorted by region anymore like it was last game.
Oh, really? Oh, yeah, it isn't. That's true.
It's just sorted by time. Okay, fine. I want to just do the American one because I don't care. I couldn't care less about digging the Goddard-based tunnel or whatever. I'm assuming. Oh no! Okay,
the
here we go.
19th century.
Great.
In the Nevada territory, where until recently only a handful of buffalo grazed, nowadays it's all hustle and bustle.
I don't know. Of course, my video is behind yours, so I'm not seeing which campaign we're going towards.
All you need to do is dig it up.
Number one,
Anyone
and
who
it's
keeps at it
the
hard enough will be richly
Gold
rewarded.
Rush,
What a
1865.
splendid opportunity.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
Bonus tasks: Ponderosa Ranch, Enjoy a Ride, and Monstrous Beast, which you've already kind of spoiled for me. I think I have to click on a bear or something like that.
No,
right?
no, that's in a Russian campaign.
Of course. Maybe this one I have to click on a buffalo?
It could be the case, yeah.
Ooh, I can make it sound like a train without actually starting. All right. Start. Okay, well, this seems interesting, though. I don't know. Is 1865 late to start this worldwide history of transportation?
There's no transportation before 1865. Everyone just sat on their asses. It's incredible the plague spread as far as it did.
Really?
Yeah. I was always confused that this game starts in 1865, and it starts you off with this weird dumb Baldwin, right? That's from 1820 something, and it's it's that's all you can use, and it's they had the trains went 60 miles an hour in 1865. They went the same speed they did today.
Yep. I just was doing some research for the Presidio Bay first episode script. Pretty hysterical how fast the trip over the first transcontinental railroad was compared to today.
Now, the truth is that 1865 is when railroad progress stopped. The stuff has not gone faster at all.
Not in this country.
Then you're in just the right place.
This voiceover is so clearly
Fever holds sway.
a German guy trying to do an American accent.
And you,
yes,
you lucky devil,
I'm glad I can't hear it.
The poker game at the Red Dog Saloon.
It's incredible. I hope you guys can all hear it.
Gold nuggets as big as a cat's head.
I'm sure there were German immigrants who actually sounded like this too.
You have a gold mine.
But it's just weird as hell.
That's what Texas is. It's all German.
Susie who plays a lousy hand of
That's
poker,
why they have Shiner
already
Bach.
took care of the groundwork. And a practical
Wait, what?
woman. She left the necessary equipment behind, too. Now all you have to do is to find the man.
That's why the Texas. There's
an
all those
overview.
like weird
Find
German
out
towns
where
in
the
Texas.
riches lie.
There are.
Karl Marx almost moved to Texas.
Tilt the camera.
Discover the entrance to the tunnel.
Alright, I gotta change this. The controls are all different to City Skylines.
Oh yeah, like
Sorry.
everything's backwards.
So I'm just totally broken.
Now this is a goal right here. This is a classic campaign goal where you have to like do all these things and they give you a trophy.
Like this. Find the
you-
mine. It's just like click the thing with the giant question mark over it.
Oh yeah, you can have a lot more goals like that.
Reason to lose
It's
heart.
like, you know, there's
Just
no
have to dig deep.
I mean, most of these missions
The
have
odds
no
to get
lose
hold of some
condition
solid
either,
timber
unless you like
from
go
the nearby
bankrupt.
forest, so that the fine
Spoiler
shaft
alert.
doesn't cave in. The beams will be excellent for stabilizing the tunnel. Build a station where the horse carts can be packed with logs.
Wait. There is a truck stop here. Oh, I have to put it way over here. Okay, you know, this is the tutorial. This is fine. Fine tutorialing.
Yeah, I think this
Explain to
one
the
is
sort of
fairly quick.
thick-skulled driver
Thank
which
God.
route he should take. Now, there's got to be a small
I
depot
love everybody
parked
clapping and
horse-drawn
applauding.
carts, too.
Oh yeah, they're all very happy for you for completing basic tasks. It's definitely a well, I mean, it's a classic video game tutorial. What you gonna do?
Yeah, that's
Um,
true.
All right, Marine, we're gonna teach you how to walk.
Everything's all set. Now, all you have to do is to get hold of a cart to transport the wood.
He's just kind of given up on his accent now. Like, almost completely. Do I do the horse-drawn carriage or the American horse-drawn carriage?
Now there's a there. I think the stats are actually different.
The
but they might
American
not be-
one gets 2 kilowatts. Oh, probably because it has 2 horses. I just can't see them in this little render.
There you go.
Oh no, actually, the European, presumably, horse-drawn carriage, lifespan of 7 years. The American one, lifespan of 3 years.
Oh, there's the social commentary right there.
Yeah, I think we're just working the horses twice as hard.
You're just working the horses harder, yeah.
A sturdy vehicle. The transport can get started.
Click it. Set line 1.
It won't be long before it's possible to dig deeper. Well then, good luck.
I like everything. The American horse-drawn carriage is just a kind of stoga wagon, which, you know, is not like a simple freight wagon that's for like crossing the country with your 17 children and like, you know, 100 other, all your knickknacks and whatever.
Is it? Yeah, addition to pause. Is it a Conestoga wagon?
It looks
Sort
like
of. I'm ahead of you. It's got, I see like crates and things.
I see. Well, I don't see because I'm ahead of you.
The horses bob their heads in perfect sync though, which is pretty incredible.
That's the German efficiency right there.
YouTube's telling me I'm dropping frames.
Yeah, I'm getting a couple frames dropped here, just a bit.
Stupid internet. Alright, hang on. This game doesn't let me...
The internet's been worse everywhere, just constantly, I've noticed.
It's probably because everybody in my building is now streaming
Yeah.
and like doing video. Oh yeah, I'm dropping frames. Right, but encoding overloaded. That's what it says. All Alright, hold on. What settings can I mess with while streaming? Nothing. Literally nothing. Cool. I love it when that happens.
Fun.
What's my best way to fix this if I'm blasting through my encoder? Let me try to just stop streaming and come right back. Oh yeah, slideshow. Yeah. Alright, let me try this. It says... Oh no, I'm stumped. Slideshow, yeah, it's really bumpy.
Yep. It's pretty bumpy over here too. Can you hear our voices, or are we wrecked there too?
Let me try. Let's get rid of my camera. Let's see if that. Streamlines anything. No, it still says encoding overload. All right. Figure out a way to do this without. Of course, I can't change my resolution in game. What's weird is that OBS says, sorry, I usually, OBS is like 0 dropped frames, which is weird.
Well, the chat's starting to say the video is picking up now. Yeah, picking up a little bit. Oh no, it just picked up a whole bunch.
Okay, well, let's try. It still says encoding overloaded every once in a while. I might stop streaming and futz with some settings. I turned it onto GPU encode, thinking, GPU, great. But I forgot that my GPUs are 5 years old. I'll be right back.
For good money.
Alright, I'll be back.
So, you got rid of the silver mine for a decent amount. Time to invest this money in a lucrative venture.
So well, take this opportunity to
all the ore from the mine must be transported to the silver mills down by the river. A railroad that takes over the transport would be a promising venture.
I'm back. It now says excellent connect. No, see, that also doesn't look good. Ugh. Do Not Eat has gone to grab a new beer. I'm trying to figure this out. Because now YouTube says it's okay. OBS now says encoding overloaded. But then also, even when I stopped streaming, it didn't let me change settings. Welcome back.
Alright, are we back up?
I'm still trying. We should have been back up. Convention dialogue. Look into all this stuff.
Chat's saying it's slowing down
back to
again.
slideshow. Oh my god. This has been fine in the past. I promise. Alright, let me try this again. That looks like that broke something. Alright, I'll be right back. I need to fix this.
Okie dokie.
That maybe fixed it? Nope, encoding overloaded. Ugh.
You could always come back at a lower resolution.
Only
it's not like we've made... We haven't made too much progress in the game.
That is true. Alright, I'll be right back. I'm going to try to start playing the game at 1080p and just streaming everything at 1080.
Alright, I'm looking at a quarter of the screen now. Up, now I went back.
Should be fixed. Center. There we go. Gotta put my little live banner up again. That's a good corner of the screen. Alright. Is this better? It still says encoding overloaded. What the hell does that even mean anymore? Turn down video settings. I don't know what video settings would be. Okay, I'm panning around now. It's not saying that.
I don't know. The stream looks good now.
Looks better? Alright,
Yeah.
I'm going to assume that's better now that I'm not trying to scale.
Yeah, it's chooching pretty good now.
Excellent. Let's get back to making fun of this game instead of making fun of this internet.
So I'll make fun of the campaign mode. I think the game itself, you know, it's very nice if you like running the trains back and forth,
That's
which I do. I
that
do
is
enjoy
nice.
running the trains back and forth. If you want to do something more complicated than that, ooh boy.
Seems fine. Can I check game settings? Yeah, you know what? I can turn some game settings down, probably. I don't think I need any of that. I should hopefully save some VRAM, keep things running a little smoother, and you can barely tell the difference. This is very convenient. I did not realize that like these Gold Rush railroads started with a perfect station length away from the road and then track, just going across a presumably hugely expensive stone viaduct.
I was
Some
going to
bumper
say,
blocks.
you know, I would have figured they would have had less advanced technology. You know, they wouldn't have needed like a whole full-length platform to load like a bunch of like you know, open generic wagons with like a bunch of gold ore. Like, you know, I would have thought they would have just used like a tipple and like, you know, just have a guy push the thing through. But
How do I rotate
again,
the station?
this is all very efficient and, you know, German, so, you know, they need a really formal loading area or else they'll
Doesn't
be unhappy.
work. How do I rotate this station?
N and M.
Of course.
The terrain is treacherous. It requires a few very twisted
This
curves.
is one of the things, and look at all these buttons, like length buttons and tracks buttons. It's like, that's not a good
Oh, everything's a dialogue box.
UI. That sucks. Build the missing tracks at Devil's Path. Oh, they really did most of the work for me, huh?
Oh yeah, you know, this is how we usually build railroads, is, you know, incrementally at one piece of. It's how they did California high-speed rail, you know,
Well,
or how they are doing it.
no tunnel or tunnel.
I don't think. Do they even let you not build a tunnel?
They do. You just build an enormous cut, and it's hugely expensive. I don't know why you'd ever do no tunnel unless the game is one of those dumb things, like where
There's no speed restrictions on tunnels. There are speed restrictions on bridges. Which I always thought was a little bit strange because one of the oldest bridges in the United States is on, you know, the 150 mile per hour section of the Acela. But what do I know?
what is up with Stone Bridge? Give me a wooden trestle. It's 1865 in Nevada.
There's lots of stone all around you, though. Why not just use that?
Build a
Using
railroad
your
that
ample
rapidly
labor
transports
resources
all the
and
ore
like
to the valley.
yeah, you know, for a span like that, you would expect like a wooden trestle with like a nice big wooden span in the center to avoid, you know,
The water.
having to put supports all the way down in the canyon. But no, you don't get that.
No way. Of course. Why would you need that? Alright, establish a new line. It is nice that this line menu seems to be agnostic of
A respectable railroad calls for a proper
type.
railroad yard.
So they sound like new train line, new bus line, which is honestly what I was expecting. Ooh, we have to build the depot now, here in the middle of nowhere.
Oh yeah. Oh, what? That's like Carson City. Carson City is not the middle of nowhere. Oh no, I see. You have to actually build it in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, you
Right,
honestly
yeah.
have to build
Needs
it
to be connected.
in the middle of nowhere.
Let's put it on a hill. That's a good place to put it.
Yeah, put it on a hill where I can't even Y into the main line.
It's going to be a Y, but it'll have a little curlicue on it, you know?
It's gonna be a really tight Y.
It's high time to buy a beautiful locomotive.
Well, luckily you only have access to tiny, shitty Baldwins. So,
Oh yeah, Baldwin's 6 wheels. Why? And a gondola missing a truck. It's like a Talgo gondola.
is it missing a truck?
Yeah, it's missing the right-hand truck.
Sure enough. In the menu, it is missing it. That isn't there on my copy, but that's funny as hell. You got a Talgo gondola. That they were really forward thinking. You know, again, 1865. It's when the trains stopped getting faster because they had already invented the Talgo.
Why locomotive and 3 freight cars? It says. All right, 1, 2, 3. 70 kilowatts, mediocre. Cool. Like this doesn't tell me much. 870 grand though. It's a good thing I have $108 million.
I was about to say that seems a little expensive for 1865. I mean, you're talking about like $870,000 in 1865 dollars. That's a lot of dollars. I mean, I guess maybe there's horrific inflation because the local bank has like gone bankrupt, but there's no other ones around. So you know their banknotes are have lost convertibility with any other bank.
Yeah, that's
I don't
true.
know.
These might not be real.
There may have been some bizarre 1800s economies happening here, which we don't have now because we have a Federal Reserve.
Alright, let's go. Slowest train in the universe that it has to make me wait the entire time.
Look at that slope it's climbing. Oh my god.
No, that pins the window. Pin the camera. Yeah. Let's go, Baldwin 6 wheels. Definitely. This is the locomotive that won the West.
One of the things I've noticed about this is I think in real life that locomotive could probably have gone faster than that. I think most of the locomotives in this game have speed limits that are a little bit too low. Now, I think probably one of the reasons he's having difficulty going fast, though, is because, of course, the engineers never close the cylinder cocks on any steam trains in this game. That's probably the reason for reduced power, because they're just losing it all out of the cylinders.
But it looks impressive, and somebody clearly watched it.
It looks like you're running the locomotive wrong.
Okay. It's the equivalent of blowing the NOS out the hood, right? Like in Fast and Furious.
Oh yeah, exactly. It's like rolling coal, except worse.
Oh my God, this train's already lost me $65,1865.
That's the one thing that keeps the game interesting is everything's absurdly expensive, right? It takes you a long time to get to Transport Tycoon style, infinite wealth.
I mean, they gave me infinite wealth. They gave me $100 million.
Oh, this is true, which is a lot of dollars in 18. How much did the Transcontinental Railroad cost? All right, let's look this up.
Smelting is moving fast and furious. Meanwhile, all sorts of fine ladies and high-class gents get off in Carson. Find out about the needs of your future passengers.
Oak Ames testified that the Union Pacific cost about $60 million to build. And the Central Pacific was between $36 million and $51.5 million.
The Central Pacific was substantially a grift, though. They got a ton of federal money. I just learned about this, but they got a ton of federal money because they got a really dubious, land assessment that's like, oh, it's mountains the entire way.
Well,
when
you got
it wasn't
that, and
for
you
the
got
first
Credit
couple.
Mobilier. Credit Mobilier was the big grift.
Yeah.
The whole thing was a grift. The land grants were grift. The railroad was a grift. It's grifting all the way down.
It really is. All right, bonus. Moses, don't pass up the chance to climb on board. Aha!
Hooray! There's no end to the rejoicing.
Okay.
All thanks to you.
Thanks for the bonus task. Complete. Enjoy a ride. When I completed that, and now it's disappeared my actual. I have to activate a layer. How do I activate the land use layer?
It's up in the corner.
Of course, because they just put it where the city skylines one is.
Yeah,
Your
exactly.
services
Look,
are needed
don't
to the
don't
same
mess with
degree
success.
everywhere in town.
Or alternatively, imitation is the sincerest form of flattery.
One of the two. Okay. Put here. Here. Put here.
Make sure your coaches don't miss any stops.
I don't want to run an express.
Build a depot where the horses can be hitched up and the coaches can wait.
This accent is driving. Oh, I have no. It doesn't tell me where to place a depot now. However, will I choose?
You finally have free will. As I mentioned before the stream, it's very much the way I describe this is the campaign is a lot like a
Purchase a few
choose your own
coaches with
adventure
horses
book
so
where
that
you
you
don't
can
have any
start.
choices.
Great. The first passengers are already waiting.
All right. My first passengers are waiting for my little. See, I wish we did have vehicles with animation in City Skylines.
Well, you can get that one horse cart where the horse's legs just spin around like a tire, you know, which is pretty funny. I enjoy that one. I like watching it because
Territorial
it's the best we can
Enterprise
do.
reports. A beast is up to no good in
You
the
notice
air.
how like the horses like
According to
slow down
eyewitnesses, it
and like
leaped
the
from
legs
tree
are
to
like
tree,
directly
was
in
at least
line
10
and they
feet
like
tall,
they're like
had a
it,
shaggy
all
pelt,
one of the reasons why
enormous
these horses are so
feet.
expensive, I
Ask the
guess,
reporter what it's all
you know, it's
about.
probably because they all are trained in dressage.
They're extremely well behaved.
Yes.
All right. A beast is up to no good in the area. It leaped from tree to tree, 10 feet tall, black belt.
The
Accept.
reporter, a certain Mr. Clemens, has revealed his source to you. An old good-for-nothing by the name of Sam Hawkins. He's supposed to be in the saloon in Virginia City.
Got it.
Could be it means buying him a couple of shots of hard liquor before he comes up with the truth.
Good. I did. I clicked the next clue and I
The
found
good
it.
man was happy to provide information.
You
The monster
find the
got a
big
few feet
dumb
taller with each whiskey
question
you bought
mark,
him.
which
Word has
is
it that it gobbles
definitely
up
one of the
whole
main
cows. Picks the
activities in
remains
this
out of
game.
its teeth with a wagon tongue. Our informer thinks it's hanging around near the Ponderosa Ranch, if he's not mistaken.
Ponderosa Ranch. What accent is that supposed to be?
Old Cartwright and his son
See,
didn't
when I heard
take too kindly
Ponderosa
to your
Ranch,
visit
I
to
was thinking of
Ponderosa Ranch. Apparently you're not
the
first to be hot on
Ponderosas
the
from
monster's heels.
It's Always Sunny in
Monster
Philadelphia.
claims that dozens laid siege
like, all
to
right,
their land.
let's get all the drugs.
Just when he was about to run them off, they hurried away towards Lake Tahoe with a paper hot off the presses in their hands.
It is a little nice that this one does have Virginia City, considering that the wooden boxcars are Virginia and Truckee.
Yes, that's true.
So
That was
I-
one of the bizarre things from the old game. Was like, you know, you could have custom logos you could apply to like freight cars and like locomotives and stuff, right?
Not some
But
of
still, all the old ones still said Virginia and Truckee on the side.
Oh,
The Territorial Enterprise reports. The wild man is dead. His body was committed to the waters of Lake Tahoe, where it will sink to a depth of over 600 feet. be encased, motionless in a block of ice, and shrink to the size of a small child due to the high pressure. Well, guess not much can be done about that.
What? The whole like click thing is just like, oh, it's dead.
Yep.
It drowned.
Yeah. There's never any payoff. There's no payoff. There's never a payoff. It's like, I don't know, sometimes you get like a Steam achievement or something like that. But no, it's like, you get a click, 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 click.
Nothing. What?
That dang old transfer fever, man. You know, you get on there and you go click, 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 click.
All right, transport 5 passengers. All right, still sitting here. Been on 3 times speed like this whole time. Just waiting. I got 1. The other bonus tasks. Nope. Just waiting for 5 passengers.
Where not too long ago there was nothing more than a dreary
Wonderful
two-bit
one
town,
further on,
a magnificent
where
little
there's the
city now
transporting
flourishes,
passengers goal,
thanks to your transportation
and that was
services.
transporting
Locals even call it the
passengers to
miracle
Key
of
West
Carson City.
via
More and more
a
people
streetcar.
want to try their luck.
And,
Obstacles shouldn't be put in their way.
Well, I decided, all right, we better put in
Your
streetcar lanes
tickets will be the hottest
Key
item
West.
in town.
When I upgraded one road, it
The rest of
demolished
the world
every
is finally
building
connected to Carson
in
City,
Key West.
a veritable boom town.
And that turned out to have added about an hour's time to that scenario,
Oh my
waiting
God.
for it to rebuild one building.
All right. It's telling me to build a passenger station. Why do these games always make you have to do passenger and cargo stations separately? That's dumb.
Those two things have always been separated, and that's something we know consistently throughout railroad history, is they never mixed passengers and freight on one train. That's never been done, like once or twice maybe, but as an emergency scenario. We all know this is like just something which is not practiced, right?
Just give it like a loading time bonus or something, right? If it's just one thing, or it's like if you have a passenger platform versus a freight platform, like you get a bonus.
I mean, the one nice thing is in this game you can do mixed passenger freight stations. Finally,
That is nice.
you have to like go in and like configure the
Oh, and manually do that's annoying.
Yeah, you gotta add like a freight platform and stuff. It's like, it's annoying. There's no reason for these things to be organized like that. This game doesn't even have like mail, like let alone like express or something like that. It doesn't even have mail.
Do they at least let your
That's where the money comes from.
your LCL hack from the last game still work? Where you
Actually, the LCL hack would work a lot better now because towns accept cargo,
interesting.
rather than just goods and food. They also sometimes accept other stuff, but the thing is, they accept them in such large quantities. I don't know if you could do like a good LCL train. Of course, they accept only 2 types of cargo each, rather than a whole bunch of them, which I
Just
think
like
would make
cities
LCL.
in real life.
Yes.
That's why New York is the Big Apple. It's because we only accept apples. It's apples and limestone, and that's it.
Yes. Apples,
amazing.
limestone, and pastrami. Well, actually, brisket, and the pastrami is made on site. I could go for some pastrami. Now I'm hungry again. I just ate and I'm hungry again. I haven't had pastrami since before the lockdown.
I finally got my first deli sandwich in a long time today. I just couldn't take it.
I can't do it anymore.
$1.4 million for a Baldwin 6-wheeler and 3 passenger cars.
Yes.
How much do we figure out the entire transcontinental railroad cost?
How much does a cracker box car cost? That's what I want to know. Because that thing is made out of like whatever, just that thing's cobbled together from like tumbleweeds.
There's firewood
I'm
up in
sure.
Glenbrook
Like
that'll get the
these
steam engines
were
in the
not good
Silver Works
quality
puffing real
rolling
nice.
stock.
But watch out that you don't cross paths with the Cartwrights from
You know, there's like the most expensive thing on that car is probably the coal burning stove, which is going to set it on fire if you have a wreck.
You barely got away from the Cartwright boys. Now get a respectable load of logs down to the valley as fast as possible before the ranchers come back again.
So your average cracker box like passenger car was just a box car, and they added some extra segments to the frame to make it longer.
Yeah, windows and like hardwood benches if you're lucky.
If you're lucky, yeah. Yeah, here, we gave you a floor, you can sit on it. You know.
Everybody assumes that like when they make these games, it's like railroading spawned fully formed.
No, it was really shit for a while. It was like really bad. I mean, it was fast, but it was terrible.
Just set a new line. This place to new line.
People in the chat are asking what LCL is.
LCL
less than carload freight. Like imagine instead of having one thing in the boxcar, you have like 23 different things in the boxcar. Going to different places even maybe. Hypothetically, you can ship like that. No one's actually figured that out in any transport game. But it is something which happens in real life. It's also called less than truckload when it's for trucks and not for trains.
LCL used to. It's basically the equivalent of like UPS trucks on rails. It was just general freight, and you could just, you know, instead of having to what you usually have to do today, which is get a whole box car. Like if I have to move a small box, I can't do it by train because those services really don't exist anymore.
Although LCL would be a broad category that would include like UPS style shipping, because that would be like express freight, which would be like packages and shit. But you'd also have LCL, which is just like, I want to ship something out consistently from my business, but at less than one carload amount.
True. I'll turn the music down a little so I can hear you a little better. Alright, delivering logs. Let's go, horse carts. See, it's like whenever you look at how much different crap we managed to ship by rail and how little crap we ship by rail now.
Oh yeah,
it's sad.
You know, you could conceivably ship all kinds of stuff by rail now that you just don't do that. Like, I don't understand like why. I don't know. Just more stuff should be shipped by rail.
How much of it is just railroads just don't want to ship a lot of stuff anymore?
Oh yeah, you got the anything high value they don't want to ship. Anything short haul they don't want to ship. Anything in small quantities they don't want to ship. The ideal railroad hauls entirely coal.
The ideal railroad, honestly, from what it seems like, is a lot like this in this game.
Yeah.
Like it seems like all railroad execs today grew up playing Transport Fever. Or
honestly, yeah, because it's all
TTD.
unit trains from point to point. Yeah.
Yeah,
And,
no switching, no changes. You get paid more if it goes a little faster. They love their intermodal shipping.
Also, you only have to use one locomotive, and it magically switches to the other end of the train when it finishes loading at a terminal station.
Bring people between Carson City and Reno. Would love to. Bring 20. Okay, I have 17 people waiting. Cool. I was gonna be like, oh god, bring people to Reno. 2 people waiting in Reno. I hope this train is just packed.
One
Okay,
thing I've
27.
noticed in this game, which is frustrating, is that
Thanks to the supply, silver ore
when you
processing
have
is
multiple
running at
vehicles
full
on a
swing,
line,
which means
it
your
doesn't seem to do
transport business too.
unbunching as well as the old game did. Which is fun if you're trying to run local transit or anything with trucks. I mean, or anything with buses.
Oh yeah. It looks like it unbunched these ones a little bit. They super convoyed up to Ponderosa Ranch. And now they're...
We're off and running. Everyone is dead set on riding your beautiful railroad.
Did Amtrak carry LCL before they got bullied out of the express business? They actually still do LCL. You can do Amtrak Express shipping, just your own boxes and things. That's like one of the very few like consumer-friendly LCL options. You can get them to ship boxes and things for you. Now you have to go to the Amtrak station to drop it off and pick it up, but
yeah, it's good for shipping guns and human bodies.
Is that what it's used for?
Actually, I think if you ship a gun by Amtrak, you have to be present on the train. I'm not sure.
I moved from New York to San Francisco on Amtrak, but I didn't do any of the shipping. I just brought all my crap with me. Except my computer monitor, which I brought all in a box and just said, it's fine, throw it in there. It's like, oh, we don't do computers. We don't allow checked computers. Sorry.
Oh my god.
It's like, wait, what? It's like, I'll sign a waiver, and just like, no, we don't do it. So I had to run upstairs to spend $100 to get FedEx to ship it.
Wow.
So that was annoying.
You know, you just walk in the baggage car and just stick.
That was a hilarious thing. We were in the last, for at least the first train, we were in the last sleeper car. So I just looked back and could peer into the baggage car through the window in the vestibule, and I could just see all my shit on the floor. And there was, you know, enormous amounts of extra space. Like, they could have put 1,000 of my monitors in that baggage car. Like, there was no risk of it being damaged at all. And they're just like, we don't want to do this.
There's no one in there. You can just walk in and put it there, and I imagine no one's gonna fuck with it.
Let's see, their whole baggage thing was very annoying to have to try to move with. I packed into as few boxes as
Business is doing splendid. Cluster of pathetic shacks has become the swankiest town in the whole West, where you find the most exquisite shops, the best saloons, and the loveliest ladies of ill repute.
You get banned from
far and
Amtrak
wide.
for illegally using the
Any
baggage car.
opportunity suggests itself to spend those
Oh, you
silver
won.
dollars you so
Oh.
richly deserved. Your railroad business
Congratulations.
is a real gold mine in the state of Nevada.
Nice. I'm very glad they pointed out that I made a town full of prostitutes.
Oh, good.
Thank you. What? I click continue. Oh. Continue playing doesn't mean go to the next one.
It's return to main menu.
Of course. I'm fine with the autosave, actually.
The island
I don't feel like this is very
Tropical
memorable
jewel in the
railroad.
midst
I
of
feel
the
like we can
Indian
consign
Ocean,
this one to the
conscientiously
dustbin of
administrated
history.
by a meticulous Dutch bureaucracy.
Oh God.
The year is 1870.
Coffee and colonialism.
The colony is
the
undergoing a
new-
transformation. Recently, individuals have been allowed
If
to
I
lease
recall
farmland,
correctly, this
manage
one's kind of
plantations.
fun.
Okay.
This is one of the few ones which I thought was, yeah, this is kind of fun. Or maybe I'm thinking of the one from the original
Off on the way
transport
to an
fever that like
exotic
limited the amount of
experience.
locomotives you could buy.
But the real problem with Amtrak is that I tried to ship stuff, so I packed all my crap into boxes and into suitcases, and they got very heavy, and I just went and was like, fine, I don't care. It'll be easier, I'll just pay whatever overweight bag fee there is. They don't do overweight bag fees. They just do not allow you to carry anything heavier than 50 pounds. They just don't let you check that. They don't.
Oh. You can't check anything that weighs more than 50 pounds?
Yeah, it's not even like an airline where you can just pay an overweight fee that's huge and extortionate. I didn't care. I was moving. I would be fine with paying that. They're just like, no, sorry.
Dutch East Indies.
What is the maximum takeoff weight of an Amtrak train?
Surely the most exemplary.
I feel like
colonial
this is not
empire
an
under the
issue.
sun.
Unless you're like shipping,
Luscious
you know,
fruits
like
and
50
cheap labor
tons
in
of
abundance.
lead or something like that
So,
in like 5
You act
suitcases.
on behalf of the
This
colonial
should not be a
administration.
problem. The train
A gifted
is very good at
talent in the
hauling
art of
heavy
engineering.
things.
You
This
have
is
been
one of the
appointed to
advantages of
modernize the
trains.
local transport
I don't
sector.
understand why you can't check something that weighs more than 50
Complete this
pounds.
task
Unless
to
it's
the
like, okay,
satisfaction
maybe
of the
maybe it's
crown.
because of the baggage handlers.
If you do,
That's
Right,
what I
you know,
thought
they
it
don't
was.
wanna
just as
lift-
governor
But
might
like, if
instruct.
they had looked at my itinerary, I was going terminal to terminal, then changing trains and going terminal to terminal.
Right, yeah.
So it's not like
Transport
I'm
is a
getting
much
off
sought
at
after
2 a.m.
service
at some
for this
podunk
scarce and
whistle
civilized
stop in the
island,
middle of
eating
nowhere.
draft animals such as oxen.
And
is
they're
punishable
actually going to have
by
to
law.
wake up on board the
That's
train,
why the
like get the
colonial
conductor to go and
administration
toss
has
my
commissioned
suitcase out
you
the side of the
to build a
baggage car.
railroad so
They have
that the
forklifts and
plantation
things at
business
Chicago
prospers.
Union Station, Penn
Delicious
Station,
coffee
and
is supposed to be
Emeryville.
transported from the fertile hinterlands to the
Oh
facility
yeah, they got all
near
kinds
town
of crap.
for
You know, you could probably ship
Anyone
like an
set on
elephant in
building
there or
wisely
something. You
and
know,
cheaply
they
avoids
get a lot of
unnecessary slopes.
they
For
get
the
a lot of
necessary
equipment,
surveying
you know, at the terminals.
It's annoying. So I ended up having to go buy a bunch of cardboard boxes and pay the bring more bags on instead. But that did require me to repack my entire apartment on the floor of Penn Station with 2 hours until my train leaves.
Oh my god, it's like at the
So I'm sitting there on the floor of Penn Station near the baggage counter, taking individually wrapped like plates out of my suitcase and jamming them into cardboard boxes.
They have high-level platforms at Penn Station. There's
Yep.
no excuse for not being able to load heavy boxes into the baggage car.
Build a route from a thriving plantation across treacherous terrain to the processing factory where the coffee fruit is husked.
What is with this game building 2/3 of the line for me and then being like, do this through treacherous terrain, and it's this perfect flat plane?
Because they think this is a tutorial game. This is a tutorial level still. This is not the fun one I thought it was. And the reason they do this is because they think you're a moron. Which, I mean, it's a tutorial level. I guess that's what you're supposed to assume the players are. But you did also build a whole, like, railroad in the previous level. I don't know why you need to be hand-walked this much.
Yeah, I did okay in the previous one, I would have thought, but apparently not. Oh man, this track laying thing is not improved since Train Fever, huh?
I don't know how much they can improve it.
A depot is needed.
Depot.
I mean, one thing I would love to see would be some way to like survey out the line
Purchase a
before you
complete
like
train, including
build it,
locomotive
right?
and freight
As
cars.
opposed to like what you do now, which is like you have a final and complete commitment to build the line exactly as you do when you do it. It's like I don't know, maybe I'll be able to go through and tweak some stuff after I get the basic outline, maybe eke out some extra speed, maybe reduce some gradients, you know?
Yeah, that would be nice. Do the little planning thing, and then hey, even like pay somebody to review it for you. Right? Have that option. Either I can sit here and review the line myself, or I can like click a button and it optimizes the route for me based on terrain and speed and whatever.
Oh yeah, you got like the automatic surveyor, which does a
coffee
shit
fruit
job
can now
like
be
3/4
brought
of
from
the
the
time. But like
plantations
for an
on its way
average
to
guy,
further
it
processing.
probably does a pretty good job.
Yeah. Yeah, look at all this gameplay in train games that we can come up with so easily. Come on, developers. We're waiting. It just beeped at me. I don't know if it's working or not. Yeah, SimCity 4 had construction time. But even still, you had to like place it and then it would just get built slowly. Like it wasn't like I'm trying to figure out a good example or description. It's like how in City Skylines or something, they have to make bulldozing quickly refund you all your money and you can like move a school cheaply.
Yeah.
It's like there are more realistic ways to deal with that problem.
I think they'd be more interesting from a gameplay perspective too if they did it a little more realistically, you know, because I don't understand, you know, why it's so cheap to relocate stuff. I understand the convenience of having a relocate button, but you know, it feels like maybe there should be like an expensive thing to do, rather, or at least cost as much as just plopping the building otherwise. It's not like they're getting a big blimp and ripping up the building and dropping it somewhere else. It's like, no, relocating a building is difficult.
Yeah, maybe even more difficult than demolishing and building new.
Yes.
But like a construction time thing would be pretty cool as well, even if it was more rudimentary like SimCity. But like, you could build it. Yeah. Do you go the extra long route because building the shorter, faster tunnel is so expensive? Maybe.
Did you ever play the Airport Tycoon series?
I did not. I mostly stuck to train games and my Flight Sim 98 copy.
Because the first Airport Tycoon had a construction time mechanic, and then the second one, they decided to make the construction time more realistic, which basically meant the way you started each airport was, you plopped down the terminal, and then you went to go make lunch, and then, maybe I don't know, you go find something else to do for a bit, and then like half an hour later, it would be finished, and you'd be able to start operating planes. I mean, there was the construction time mechanic was just I could not for the life of me figure out why they decided to just
what a superb
have so much
railway.
do nothing in there.
It provides the local plantation leaseholders with truly
I think that would be the
valuable
trick, because you'd have to balance it and make
Still
it interesting.
fresh from the fields.
Yeah, if they made it like difficult to build a tunnel, that would make sense to me. But also like you'd still need a sandbox mode, of course, where you can just be be an asshole and build everything instantly.
So that the first-rate coffee makes it into town undamaged. If need be, stations that can be guarded against plundering hordes.
Stations that have to be guarded against plundering hordes.
It's probably because they're being assholes to the natives.
Yeah, they're plundering hordes. It's okay though, because they said that this game does not reflect the developers' ideas.
The way that like colonialism is portrayed in this game is so incredibly like boring and milquetoast, and it's like, okay, we think it's bad, but we're also not going to say too much about why it's bad. I mean, there's nothing controversial is said in this game. There are no controversial statements, right? There's only like, it's just boring, right?
Yeah, that's kind of how I felt about this whole series. Right? There's no like difficult gameplay decisions.
There's nothing difficult. Again, it handholds you the whole way, even to a large extent during the late game scenarios. It's very much. It's not like, let's say, Railroad Tycoon, right? And Railroad Tycoon is fun because you can be a bastard just constantly in the worst ways possible. You can win a lot of scenarios without laying a single mile of track. You can just, short sell AI railroads that are going to go bust.
The factory now finds itself in a laudable position.
The best train game is the one that can be played without trains.
To experience considerable
yes.
growth. Its products
it's true though. It really is true. It's the one where you can just be an asshole railroad baron the whole time. And the game lets you know you're an asshole.
Lucas,
and you feel like an
the
asshole.
Capable
like,
engineer
yes,
in your locomotive
I've done it.
seems to have vanished from the face of the earth, or anywhere else for that matter. Time to. Several locals show an interest in learning the decidedly noble profession as locomotive engineer. A practice route for training purposes.
What is this thing?
Meanwhile,
My locomotive engineer got eaten?
signs are feeding horrible rumors about the
Oh no!
indigenous tribes dying.
Check this out. You know what I bet's gonna happen? Well, I know it's gonna happen, so maybe I shouldn't reveal it. But there's gonna be no payoff.
But it's like, I just got told my locomotive engineer got eaten, but the train's still running. Look, there he's even still standing there. There he is. Why did, like, Stop the train. If you're gonna make me do a thing, it's like your digested driver. Get rid of the guy. Also, poor single guy shoveling the coal and operating the engine. That sucks.
I was about to say, real quickly, retrain the fireman right there.
Maybe there are supposed to be two guys.
There
and
are
one is
supposed to
missing.
be two guys there, yeah. There should actually be three guys on that train. That's another thing that also that is a very short platform for them to stand on, right next to the firebox.
I'm sure that's prototypical on this weird locomotive. Just jammed in there. All right.
They just have a guy trackside whose job is to reach out and adjust the throttle as the train goes by to slow it down.
All right, I've got to build a testing track with 2 stations and a depot. Why? Just let me test on the other track that I have.
Nope.
I spent so much money on that.
It's okay.
The
You have
correct way to drive a
48,000,000
vehicle must be practiced
1870s
so that
dollars,
potential passengers are not
which
scared
basically
off right
makes
away.
you richer than the
In the
United
meantime,
States government.
Some hard to digest news reaches you. A skilled worker is said to have fallen victim to a bloodthirsty tribe of cannibals.
Oh, yep. Look at that. My locomotive engineer got eaten by cannibals.
Wow.
I'm not 100% sure how accurate the
No, at this
storytelling
point, when I
is.
played this scenario, I was like, you know what? Good. I'm glad he got eaten by cannibals.
I'm just gonna buy the shitty one.
Maybe you shouldn't have done colonialism. You wouldn't get eaten by cannibals if you don't go to like where the cannibals are and then take over their land.
This is such a huge waste of time and money.
Oh yeah.
It's like,
Oh yeah. No, it's gonna don't worry. The payoff
it's nothing, I'm sure.
is nothing. It doesn't exist. Yeah. I guess they're not training him very well because he's not closing those cylinder cocks.
So what, when this is done, do I just have to sell this and scrap it immediately? My little Volcano and Western here?
Oh, I don't remember that bit. All I remember is that the payoff
The
is
locomotive
terrible.
engineer has returned safe and sound. While
Oh,
you
no, he
picked
was
of him
fine.
on
He
the
didn't get
stomachs of
eaten.
Savages, he
Yeah,
was
yeah,
having
he
the
was
time of his
fine.
life in the
He was
virgin
fine. Nothing
forest.
happened to him.
Naturally, you can't tolerate misconduct like that, and regretfully
Oh,
have to
God.
fire the good man.
Oh, but I still have to fire him because he disappeared.
Yeah. There's your tough moral
Thanks to your
choice.
reliable
Is
deliveries,
firing like
the
an
factory
abstract
is working
guy
far above
when
par,
this game has no like
although
labor
it would
function,
certainly be capable of
whatsoever.
processing much more.
Like it's not like
Virtually
you're hiring and
colossal
firing
capacities of
staff
coffee.
or
You
anything
should
like that.
weigh
There's
the
no like
idea of increasing the transport
this is not a
because
moral
coffee from
choice. It's
the
not a
colony
choice.
is
It's
No,
not
it's
even a
just a
choice.
button that
There's
says
no
fire
choice
the
to be
dude.
had.
adequately supplied
I
the
have one
factory's
choice,
coffee
which is to
fleet.
fire the
The
dude.
passing
Because again, I'm in a
siding is
choose your
needed
own
so that a
adventure book
second train
with
can
no
use the
choices.
line. The trains should wait for each other on the passing siding. This requires placing signals. If the plant is to be used to its
All right,
fullest
congrats. We're
capacity,
gonna try and
another
learn how to do
complete train
signaling.
is needed.
We did it. Is there a clone button? Yep.
Wherever coffee production thrives,
Oh,
business and
clone
prosperity
trains. Okay,
flourish
yeah.
too.
Yeah, I was like,
Thanks to
what are we
railroad,
cloning here?
the port town of
I wasn't aware of
Surabaya
this
has
mechanic.
become a lively trading center for countless goods and services.
Is that how we're fulfilling our
All
labor
kinds of
shortage?
people from all corners
No,
of the
because there's no
island
like game
want to
mechanic
do
associated
profitable
with railroad
business here.
labor.
That's why the colonial
Everybody knows that
administration
railroad
has
labor
commissioned
has
you
always been
setting
smooth,
up a
always, no
passenger
matter
line
what.
from
Especially
Semarang
like
to
colonialism
Surabaya.
times.
Time
I was
to
about
build
to
a
say,
line which
no
will
like
soon link
large
the key
labor
trading
movements
hubs
like
in Eastern
associated
Java.
with railroad labor. It's always been, a respectful association between management and labor. Certainly not like the entire Pennsylvania Railroad being burned down in the 1880s. That never happened.
Or multiple units causing labor disputes, or huge fines for axle loading fake.
One of the things I was very, very weirded out by is like the idea that this provides a history of transportation.
Yeah.
And it's like, this is okay. Why do people play Transport Fever? It's for the trains, right?
Yeah, it's to make a little train set and to have something to do.
To make a little train set. Now you can do a lot with that, right? And so many of the later scenarios are like, oh nope, not using trains in this one. You can't use trains. I'm like, there's so much stuff you could do. They'd be like really easy with the scripting tools they have. Like the some of the stuff that they do, you can see there's an interesting game to be had here if they just used the tools and the scripting they had to talk about something like interesting in railroad history. And instead it's like, well, you got to click this question mark. And like, I was like, it'd be really good if you could make like a Lackawanna cutoff scenario or something like that, or managing the Penn Central, something like that, instead of what they've actually done. And it would be, I can't figure out the scripting for scenarios, of course. I took a whack at it and it's like, no, I can't do this. This doesn't make sense to me.
I'd be super down for a Unfuck the Penn Central campaign.
Yeah, or just manage it through bankruptcy.
Yeah.
It's a real Kobayashi Maru sort of situation.
If you want to play around with like alternate history stuff, like, don't do that. Like, what if there's one where you had to figure out a way to... Oh, shit. This is where I wish there was better surveying. I would have seen I was headed right at this mild hill. Yeah, like managing the railroad through bankruptcy, or like, as much as we hate it, even PSR would be an interesting sort of scenario in one of these.
You would need like actual... You need proper simulation of carload freight, and that would not. I will say that is a pretty tall order for any train game, because we haven't really seen it, except in the abstracted form, which existed in Railroad Tycoon.
Everything existed in Railroad Tycoon. It's just such a goddamn good game.
It is. It is so good. They did it right the first time.
Maybe that's
Everything
what we'll
else,
do on
The
stream
railroad has been completed.
next time.
Curiosity runs high.
Did
Time will
Railroad
tell if
Tycoon
passenger
have
transportation
multiplayer?
Really is a venture that's
I don't
worthwhile.
know.
That is one thing that would rescue this game is multiplayer.
We need to do, speaking of games that were really kind of only rescued by multiplayer, we gotta do Cities in Motion 2 multiplayer. Someday.
Oh yeah, that would be fun. That would be a good time.
And we'd get to choose co-op or competitive. Run each other into the ground.
Oh yeah, yeah, sure. I'll be the IRT. You can be the BMT, and then we'll get a ringer in as
We'll just cheat them in
as
with
the
infinite
IMD.
money.
Infinite money, but a time limit.
Man, there's so many good, like, actual transportation stories that we just should have in games,
Yeah.
but we don't.
Do not have them. Yes. And there's like it's bizarre,
And there's just an
strange.
infinite capacity for just, like, weird half-baked ones that just come out all the time.
A formidable
Everything
enterprise like
yours
calls for a suitably
Like there's a
first-rate
lot of.
branch
I think the
office.
only
Oh, you're not
scenario
just
in
any-
here which I thought, okay, that's something important to like the railroad or transport history canon, was like running the Trans-Siberian Railroad around Lake Baikal. I was like, okay, yeah, this makes sense.
Build a prestigious
And that was
residence
a pretty
that is
good
unrivaled
scenario. That's
in the
upcoming.
whole island.
Spoiler alert.
Nice.
You may
Yeah,
have to click some bears.
All right, build a headquarters. Where's my like company overview button?
But you click the amount of money you have.
Of course. Build my prestigious headquarters. It doesn't get rid of the window.
Oh God, no.
You'll do.
A truly attractive estate, but a veritable
There's like a
plague
lot
is
about
spoiling all
this
the
game
fun.
which doesn't make a lick of
Snakes have
sense.
occupied the building.
I
Rumor has
I don't
it
know.
that a
I am
wise
very
old woman
confused.
knows how you could rid yourself
I
of
think
the
this is
snakes
part
in
of the
your
German
walls.
pathology.
She's supposed to be in Surabaya.
What's this? I built a building, and then snakes have occupied it. So now I have to find an elder, a wise elder, to charm the snakes away.
The old
In the
woman
form of
says
a
she
large
doesn't know a
yellow
thing,
question mark.
But you should try your
Yes.
luck with her cousin in Semarang, who has a knack for
This
the
is
art
some
of snakes.
Orientalist bullshit. I gotta say that.
The snake
The other,
charmer
you did
declared
place
that
your
you've
headquarters
probably
backwards,
angered the
by the
mighty
way.
snake
did I?
goddess with
Yes.
your
I wanted it to be street facing.
The snake priestess
It's
of
good
Mount
urbanism.
Merapi is the only
but,
one who could remedy
no,
the
you
situation.
need a large vacant lot in the front where your
course.
employees can hitch their horses and carts.
And- Damn it.
Yeah, this would be, if we really wanted to make the Transport Fever campaign mode drinking game, take a sip every time you click a question mark.
Okay. Turns out this, not the temple. How about this? Not the temple. How about this?
The priestess
Oh,
has spoken.
that was it.
The only way she is willing to
I'm
call
sorry,
off her
Mario,
children
but the princess
if
is
you
in another
make a
castle.
sacrifice to the great snake goddess.
But I have
Coffee.
to give coffee
Priestess
beans to the
prophesied,
snake
Will
goddess.
be the sure thing to appease the goddess.
Yes.
What is happening with this game? Why is
Bizarre.
everything through the weird lens of like weird transportation?
It's very strange because that is, this is some. I understand we're trying to like do something fun here, right? As opposed to something which is like real serious, you know, like a serious examination of transportation under like European colonialism. right?
Yeah.
But A, it's not that fun. It's just clicking a bunch of question marks, right? And B, it's just weird Orientalism.
Coffee beans to the snake goddess, and to do that, I have to buy a truck.
Yeah. Well, I think it's very strange that, you know, they're like, we need you to build a road up to the ancient temple, which,
Also a good point.
you know, and then we
And a
need
big
you to
truck
build a
station in
giant
front of it
big
too.
truck station up there. Yeah, exactly. You know, it's like,
I'll do the
this
little
is
one.
weird.
The little bus shelter. Oh, it's called South Street though. The station.
yes.
Station at the
Hell
temple.
yeah.
South Street, of course.
Here we are at we're at 2nd and South, right outside Patty's Pub.
Uh-oh. It's rumbling in the
I
island's
think later
interior.
in the series that was
Mighty
retconned into
volcano
2nd and
Merapi
Catherine.
threatens to erupt.
And
A
it's
phenomenon
always
like
sunny in
this wasn't
Philadelphia.
reckoned with when planning the route. The natives claim that someone has probably angered one of their gods. Whatever the case, if the precious coffee fruit is supposed to be transported by rail in the future too, then it's imperative
happened?
that something be done. It seems worthwhile to remove the infrastructure if it's not supposed to be buried under ashes and lava.
I have to demolish my line?
Oh hell yeah! Take a drink. Demolishing your line for no reason.
Ugh. Why? It's like to prevent it from being destroyed by the volcano. Destroy it now.
It's got water at the top. That'll just turn it to obsidian. You're fine. I played Minecraft. I know how this works.
Yeah, my train's like, whoa. Oh, good. Vehicle in the way. So I can't send the trains to, okay. That's,
It's fine. It's not like it's time sensitive, and you can do everything while paused.
that's true. This one is on me. I did forget to send my trains to the depot first.
You don't even have to do that. You could just like wait until the trains are in the passing siding and then demolish everything. Although of course I'm seeing everything like behind you, so like I don't know. I am not seeing.
Depot, please.
Yeah.
Unable to find passes. Oh, of course, because I put my stupid depot on.
Oh my god.
It's okay though, because I can just click the sell instantly button. Boink, and they just vanish.
Yeah, that's fine because you have more money than the United States government.
Future, the route ought to be relocated to an area where it can soon expected devices will be.
Why do they make me bulldoze it? When the whole thing is like, build an alternate line. Just build it, destroy it for me, and then build an alternate line.
That would be the way I would do this. Is I would say, well, the volcano done blew up, and now that half the line is borked. So you have to rebuild it. Maybe you'll lose a train in the process. It's not like you're financially constrained in this scenario, right? It's not like there's any kind of like you basically I again, it's a tutorial level. It's the second scenario. Like, all right, we gotta kind of handhold the player, but this never stops.
The danger has been averted. Transport can be resumed.
The danger
What's
has
more,
been avoided.
The volcano is showing signs of calming down again. Despite that, maybe relocating the route was still a wise move.
The volcano is showing signs of calming down again, it says.
Again, no payoff.
It's like,
There's never a payoff.
This is way faster. Can I just put it back? This is stupid. I sold my trains.
Oh my god.
Ugh.
Again,
What a
very
godsend.
nice train set
Stylish
simulator.
residence is
Not
pleasantly
such a
safe
great
for
not a great campaign. The campaign is not the most fun thing.
New
The
lines.
fertile island has a lot more to offer than coffee. The widow of a friendly grower, may the poor devil
Oh,
rest
did you
in peace,
do the
has been
thing
planting sugar
where-
cane lately. Make the lady happy.
Oh, I thought you did the
providing
thing
her
where
with
you
your
accidentally
services.
complete a goal before they even give it to you, which has happened to me a few times.
It was all for nothing. Except...
The sugar must be transported to town. From there, it is shipped
Oh, hey.
and served when continental Europeans get together for coffee.
Oh my god,
Nice.
look, they're making me do something along a right-of-way I already have set up. How do I do
Well,
this?
I don't believe that for a second.
How do I add some cargo platforms?
Oh, you want to add more to the station y'all already got? Okay.
Yeah.
So you click the station and you click configure, right?
Cargo platform. Do I need a cargo main building?
No, you do not.
So I can just do
that would
this?
make a lot. That would make a lot of sense if you did, but you don't need it. No.
Okay.
So otherwise, you'd go into platforms, and you would say cargo platform, and you place her down,
I kind of want to do the...
and then you add some tracks to it.
I remember when this was first announced and teased, everyone was like, oh my god, this is a City Skylines killer.
Well, I mean, it doesn't have like zoning or planning or like.
That's what I was confused by. How do I add
Yeah,
tracks to
I-
the station?
Well, what you do is you go to the tracks menu.
Of course, the tracks menu of my state.
You go into you config. Go back to the configure thing.
Yeah, I got it.
Yeah.
Doesn't
Okay.
make it not.
There we
dumb.
go. There we go. I am a little bit behind you, so.
Oh, of course. I'm like, I did it
Yeah.
already. Why? Is that halfway? No. It is halfway.
It's bizarre they would call this a City Skylines killer. It's like they're different games.
They're super different games, and also these ones have not ever been like stunningly good games.
Again, it's very good if you want to like, you know, if you like watching trains go back and forth. It's pretty good. If you want something that is a little more immersive, God, City Skylines.
And even still, City Skylines for immersion and realism is a low bar to clear.
This is true. Yes. I don't know. You can watch all the people walk around. You know, sometimes there's like
Traffic is flowing full steam
I
ahead.
don't know, like
Plantation business is
the fire
developing
trucks go. You know,
magnificently.
you've got like all kinds of fun
In light
stuff
of
in
all
City
this
Skylines.
success,
You watch all the people go
governor
about
is
their
thinking
daily
of moving
business.
back
Here
to
it
his
seems,
Dutch homeland.
it just seems a lot more
Thanks to
sterile
your
in this
outstanding
game.
work, you have a good
is how
chance
I
of
would describe
inheriting
it.
his post.
Yeah, it's a good way to put it. Do that. I finished the scenario, but I'm not ready to give it up
bad.
because I've got to do my new lines of business.
Yeah, it's like the other thing is the way they, I guess, measure your achievements here is how quickly you complete the side quests. But I think after you complete the side quests, or after you complete the main thing, if you complete the side quests after that, then it like doesn't count.
That's extremely annoying.
Oh yeah. But it's also like nothing's time limited or anything like that, you know, because again, there's no loss condition in like any of these scenarios other than like, you know, if you run out of money. So it's kind of, you know, you can just delay your main condition for a while and complete all the side quests.
So he says 44 million and still only builds a passing side instead of double tracking. I'm losing 1.4 million $1872 in total, maybe? I don't know what unit of time that's in. I'm gonna assume total.
I think that's yearly.
Okay, well, I've not done very well this year, apparently.
Yeah, because you had to like build a test track for no reason. You had to reroute a line for no reason. You had to, and like, of course, the game's not letting you really get the most out of your railroads because of reasons.
That's true. There's no way to share passenger and freight on one train in this, right?
No, you can do that.
Oh, really?
Yes.
And then will it work? And
Very,
if
very difficult and complicated to do so in a profitable way, but yes, you can do it.
do I have to do it by having two stations immediately adjacent to each other, one to do the passengers and one to do the freight?
I would think you would be able to combine the passenger and freight trains. I just don't know that you would be able to, like, get the, I don't know how you would get the, you know, since the industries are so far away from the town, it's like, I don't know how you would route this.
That's true. And okay, it is pretty fun watching little trains drive around and stop for the signals. That's fun.
No, it is fun to watch the trains go, right? You know, that's the 99% of what this game is, yeah, it's fun to watch the trains go. The other thing is, like, it's not so much fun with any of the other forms of transportation.
I feel a little bad for Amtrakking these guys 100 years before Amtrak by getting them stuck due to freight train interference.
Yeah, people have been, you know, Amtrakking for years and years and years.
Sugar rattles toward town.
Bonus task.
Train.
Yes.
What a pleasure.
Okay. No tasks available. That's
Very
what
nice.
I like to see.
So you've done it.
Quit to main menu.
In the north
On
of
to the
Britain,
next
in
one.
the midst of the Victorian era, the industrial city of Glasgow is bursting at the seams.
Scotland.
The factories are working full blast, but the competition is not
Let's go.
sleeping. In terms of economic issues, the countries in continental Europe
Oh,
have long
damn, we should
since
have
caught
Alice
up.
on.
Something
I don't
must
think
be
she's
done
awake.
to
I was
stop
gonna say,
the
it's a little
cradle of
late
the
for
Industrial
your-
Revolution from falling behind. Anyone who doesn't toe the line now will fall by the wayside.
Seems like I could put a cargo building on the same station. But I'm talking like it said cargo platforms versus regular. Because if you
think
could
you
do
have,
mixed trains properly, that would be very cool.
I think if you have like one cargo platform in the
Scotland.
building, like the whole thing acts like a passenger and freight station. Don't quote me on that, but
The land of
So it says
enlightenment.
one track down the middle of both a passenger and cargo
Land of
platform. You'll
progress.
offload on both. Okay, that's pretty cool. It feels like an accidental
Land of
mechanic,
science.
but
I also don't think it affects your loading speed,
The land of
which is
industry.
something I would expect it to do, like in a game that made sense.
yeah.
The Glasgow City Council wants to modernize the transport
Ooh,
infrastructure
this is going to be a tram
so
level.
that the city remains the vibrant industrial
How do
metropolis
these
you gotta-
it is
minecarts
today
work?
in the future.
I think
as
you
well.
gotta build a bridge in this
With
level.
your transport company, you're as
Think.
good as predestined for this
Maybe
sort
not.
of contract. The shipyards on the Firth of Clyde have been famous for their sturdy
I'm seeing the
boats
carts
for quite
now.
some time.
And I'm just
New
infuriated
processes for
that
the
the
mass production of
gauge
high-quality
versus
steel are
the
now
carts.
opening up previously undreamt of possibilities. A member of the city council recently proposed to you during a pheasant hunt whether you'd like to supply his friends in the shipbuilding
blah, blah,
industry
blah, blah, blah.
with this
I'm also
essential
interested on
material.
this
Coal
1880s
and
era
iron are available in
orange
abundance
traffic
in the areas
cones
around Glasgow.
and pallets.
Off to the blast furnace.
All right, wait
pallet
until you
loaders.
start seeing the 40-foot containers. Excuse me, 20-foot containers, which is apparently have existed since 1850.
Come on, game. It's the 1880s power shovel.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Look, the power shovel is the most underrated form of heavy mining equipment. Everyone wants to talk about, the what's it called?
Bucket
The
wheel.
The bucket wheel. Yeah, the bucket
Drag
wheel.
line.
Drag line. No, give me a power shovel anytime.
This has a
I'm
power
not.
shovel.
I'm just now seeing the power shovel now. I'm like, well, it's not quite an 1880s power shovel, but
No,
it's like a
closer
19
than some other stuff.
Yeah, it's closer than a lot of other stuff in the game. I'm not gonna criticize the power shovel too much when there's bigger fish to fry.
How did this guy get here? You'll see it in a second. It's a weird section of road in the middle of nowhere that I assume is a campaign objective. And there's just like a stagecoach just walking around on it.
All right, I'm gonna tell you exactly what that does when the time comes.
Okay, nothing
Oh no, it's dumber than that.
dumber than nothing.
Oh my god. There's like a thing where you have to like create a line that hits the different rocks in like a specified way and that clears an objective. It's so dumb. It's dumb as
You're
hell.
right. That is dumber than that. I wouldn't have thought it possible. It's what like this sort of stuff is what gets like a little disappointing. Being like a big transport nerd
Yes.
and like knowing how interesting the actual stories are.
Yes.
It's like, why would you make a game that supposedly is all about this stuff, but then one, isn't, and two, like,
Yeah. Yeah, these are the serious problems with the campaign, is that it's like, oh my Jesus.
like there are ways to do this in a super cool way
Mm-hmm.
that, for whatever reason, you just don't, not interested in it.
Can't do it. Cannot do it.
Like, it's a Korok seed hidden in that circle.
Oh, nice. You could get both the both the mine and the steelworks with one station. That solves a lot of problems.
Yeah, I wanted to do that, but it would break the scenario.
Yeah, that's the other thing, right? It's like, well, can I do a line that starts at one station and stops at the same station again?
They're so close. Like, they'll each bring things halfway, but unless it gets onto the back of a horse, they will not let me do this.
I believe your cargo payment is based on station to station, not industry to industry. Someone did the math a while back.
That's heartbreaking and exactly as stupid as I would expect.
Yeah, it's
So I'm just gonna get totally shafted for having my stations what I thought would be faster.
Oh yeah, almost certainly. Oh my god.
Whoa.
I need to go back and look at the Reddit post. I forget. Also, never go on Reddit, obviously.
No.
But someone did the math on a Reddit post, so.
How do they get the coal from these big dumpsters into the little cart?
Oh, they just dumped the dumpster
With
on
what
the cart.
appears to be pretty impressive chrome rims. I don't know if you can see that yet.
Oh yeah. Yeah, they tricked those things out.
And electric taillights? Headlights?
Absolutely.
Am I crazy? Yeah, they are. Those are electric lights. Those are not little kerosene lanterns. Maybe in the front they look like lanterns, but the back lights are absolutely electric lights.
It's because that's what the regulations say.
You're gonna get the little
Oh, very efficient, very German.
retroreflective triangle.
Oh yeah, you need that. Back in Amish country, Are those? And they got they got fenders over the wheels, which appear to be like stainless steel or chrome or something. All they need are mud flaps on the back with the girl on them.
The silhouette.
Yeah. Either that or Yosemite Sam. It's like.
If I ever end up making any trucks for City Skylines, I'm gonna spend half my texture resolution on those girls on the mud flaps.
Bigger
Absolutely, yes.
doesn't get there all by itself.
Deliver 10 steel to the industrial area. Where's my land use layer? Of course, to the shipyard, here, conveniently placed almost as far as possible from the water.
I am very confused at the concept of there being an I understand that certain building uses will concentrate naturally without zoning, but also the concept is there's an industrial area of a city in 1880. It's stuff is pretty interspersed throughout, even the way North Philly is organized right now, it's there's still a bunch of light industry just interspersed in row house neighborhoods.
It's the same way where I am in Brooklyn too. To the point where I was a little surprised. I'm I was walking around in a much nicer neighborhood than mine, and I just turned a corner and there's an auto body shop with a big corrugated steel fence slammed into the ground. That seems
That seems not right. The other thing is there's all these buildings that look abandoned and they aren't. It turns out there's a metal shop working in there or something like that.
I lived a couple blocks. I lived in Williamsburg for 2 months right when I first started working for the MTA, and I was shocked because I was right around the corner from a proper metalworks, not a steelworks like this, but they had a big old overhead crane and a big empty outdoor lot.
Oh yeah.
I'm just what? How much money did they turn down for good Williamsburg?
I imagine rebuilding the plant and equipment elsewhere would be it would be difficult, right? I guess if you tried to sell out, it'd be all right, we got to dismantle all this plant and equipment because a lot of it's probably stuff you can't easily get anymore. For these real heavy industrial ironwork stuff.
Yeah, that's true. All right, delivering 10 steel to the industrial area of Glasgow. Give me some charts. Some charts, apparently. I just want to know how much steel is weighing. 2 steel. Cool. Gotta deliver 10 of these with stupid horses.
Also, it's probably pretty convenient that you can, like, I don't know what was this, like ornamental ironworks, or is this like structural ironworks?
I do not think that it was structural.
Because I'm thinking of, like, if you got structural ironworks and you can do some of that stuff, you know, like just over the river from where they're putting the skyscrapers up, you know, you might be able to have a nice time advantage if, say, you know, someone screws up and you got to fix something real quick.
That's
you
true.
know, if you have the equipment in there that, like, yeah, I can do a 4-inch penetration weld on a steel column. It's like in 3 hours. It's like, and get it back to the site. It's like, oh yeah, let's use these guys.
I mean, the real answer is honestly, has not been a nice neighborhood for very long.
That's also true. Yeah, and probably these folks are pretty stubborn. They don't want to leave.
Yeah.
I don't want to go to New Jersey. Don't make me go to Jersey.
Or, like, hilariously, they could go like 10 blocks away to like Greenpoint, which is still very industrial. But then they'd probably have to move in 5 years once everybody realizes the G train is not that bad of a train.
Yes.
It's just got bad connections because they neutered it.
But what did they change about the G train that made it, like, less practical?
It used to go farther into Forest Hills.
Ah,
Or
okay.
it used to go farther on Queens Boulevard to Forest Hills, and they cut it short. So it's part of the IND, and they cut it 1 station short before the big transfer station.
Oh, that seems unwise.
Well, it's the only spot they could turn it around without fouling the line, because when they chopped in the BMT to connect to the IND there, they put it in just before the big transfer station, which makes sense. But you'd end up fouling that line, and there's no layup track beyond there either. So they had to cut it 1 short and then make a transfer with the 7, and then a really long hallway and a transfer back to the ones that the train tunnel just connects straight to.
I feel like, you know, one thing you could do is maybe coordinate
Your
infrastructure
deliveries
with
of
service
high-quality
changes.
steel make it possible
you know,
to
where it's
build
like, well, maybe we want to keep this
seaworthy
useful
ships.
service pattern.
Time to
Maybe
make
we
use
can
of
build
these
a little
robust
bit of extra
steamers.
track. You know, this is
Sustenance for the city's
a
working
controversial
masses is found
opinion.
out on the
but
islands. Delectable fish swim in the sea,
Fish.
and the distilleries on the Hebrides produce an absolutely
I don't
exquisite
respect
whiskey.
fish.
It's called the water of life. Get out there and explore the area. Every ship needs a harbor.
Oh, the harbor.
Your venture needs a particularly good one.
Harbor. Harbor. Oh my god, it's huge.
Oh yeah, yeah. All this stuff is like annoyingly big, just big as hell. It's frustrating.
That's one of the problems that OpenTTD does really well. In that, like,
Help to build
scales
a shipyard
sort
so
of
that it
don't
won't
really
be
matter
long
that
before
much.
you can call a
That's
beautiful
true.
ship
Yeah, I mean, I
home.
will say, like, the harbor being big makes sense, but it's also like you're not really building something which seems, you know, like the Transport Fever Harbor is like big, but it's also like not so big that it's like a
Buy
pain
a
in the ass
stately
to
boat
build.
that will sail
Yeah.
you
Because
safely
I
through the
feel like
wild waters of the
if this
Western
game
Isles
had
on your daring
a
expedition.
if the way cargo was delivered,
Explore the Western
made
Isles
sense.
to obtain whiskey for
you
the
could
city.
make ships a pain in the ass to use, but also have them dominate in certain situations, right? Because all right, so here's you know how in Transport Tycoon, right?
Mm-hmm.
Various cargoes have different payment rates over time.
Oh, yes. That does not happen here, does it?
Yes, no. If you deliver 7 tons of gold in this game, it will pay the same amount as 7 tons of coal. It's kind of like this is a very strange way. I mean, I guess if you're in some kind of highly regulated society where your freight tariffs are based entirely on weight, sure, whatever. But then you should say that. That would be the other thing.
Thanks
Because
to your
it's not
services,
like
its need for steel is always covered.
because then of
In
course
contrast,
it wouldn't
a lack of
increase or
personnel
decrease
looms
based
on
on
the
speed,
horizon.
which would
Nowadays,
also
the
make an
city's working
interesting
class is
gameplay mechanic.
outrageously
But here,
strong.
like,
The
it pays
workforce is
more
rebelling
based on
more
speed,
and more against the prevailing
universally,
working conditions.
right?
Yep.
On the other hand,
Because if
in
you
the
had to pay a
Highlands,
flat rate no
countless
matter how
hungry
fast
people
you
wait
go,
gratefully
then
for
you would
employment.
naturally get a bonus based
All
on
that needs
speed,
to be done is to get
right?
them
Because
to the
you
city.
have regulated tariffs,
Build a
I guess.
railroad in the wild
But
west of the Highlands, so that this
what do
remote
I
stretch
know?
of land finally experiences the blessings of modern civilization.
We're just gonna have to make our own damn game one of these days.
It's true.
What? Looking at a 2-track station, and it means I have to build 2 platforms.
Yes. No, you could build a 2-track station with an island platform if you're clever about it.
Yeah, but not by default.
Oh no, God forbid, no.
2 tracks means 2 side platforms. And 4 tracks means 3 side platforms. Why?
Because they don't want you transferring from local to express trains.
Oh, is it
Right.
for...
I've been to the Penn Station stop.
It might be that so you can more easily plot the side access thing or whatever.
Yeah, that's true. It is easier to do the side access if you don't have island platforms. Although, you can also just add more platforms and make it work that way.
It's true.
Like, you don't need to add a full-length platform. You can just add a short stretch of platform and some stairs on the side.
That's very convenient. Why'd this have to be... I really see what you mean about, like, the choose-your-own-adventure sort of thing. It's like, build a railroad here.
Yes.
I don't want... Like, this is drivable.
One thing which is extremely frustrating, right, is that there's no, like, overarching goal when you start any scenario, right? It's not like... So, like, when you... Let's say you're playing Railroad Tycoon, right? And you, like, start up the first scenario, and it's like, all right,
Supply the
here's what
city
you
of
have to
Glasgow
do.
with
You have to
workers
link
none the worse
New
for
York
wear
City to
who haven't
Buffalo
fallen
by
victim to the union's
1845.
pipe
And here are
dreams yet.
bonuses if you get it done more quickly.
Yep.
Here, it's like they just keep giving, they keep piling shit on you. And, like, half the shit is not related to the earlier shit. And it doesn't make any sense whatsoever. It's just like arbitrary, like, oh, do this other thing. Do a third thing. Here, undo the thing you did before, for no reason. There's no,
These
like,
days,
overarching
big landowners,
storyline or, like,
fleecy
anything.
balls
There's,
of
like,
wool
no
now graze
coherent
where
way you
families
can
of farmers once
strategize if you've
cultivated
never
their
played it
patches.
before.
Lady
Like, there's
McDougal
no...
asks for help. She
It
wants to
doesn't
know
make
if all her
sense.
little
It
sheep are still
doesn't make
together.
any sense.
It's very pretty, though.
It does look nice. But beauty is skin deep.
Yeah. Lady McDougal asks for help.
Help
for
with
sheep.
accounting.
What the
Look to see if all the sheep
Exactly.
are still there.
There we go.
Click on
what are we
all of
gonna
the
have
sheep
to do
on the
after this?
map.
Oh god, you gotta click the sheep. Yeah, god.
It's a good thing I can do this just like with my camera in space.
All the people in charge have dozed off.
Holy
all the
shit.
counting.
I just saw all the question marks pop up. Yeah, I gotta click it.
Make some noise to wake them up again. How do I make noise?
Oh, this took me a while. Oh boy. How do you think you make noise?
That's like
I'll
first person the train and blow the horn?
No.
Oh, that would have been good. How do I make noise?
It's stupid. It's very dumb. Okay, think of an action you can do to make noise. That makes a noise like when you do it.
Oh god,
Place a building.
really?
Yeah.
So I just need to go. Of course.
What's going on here? Oh yeah. Inventory's over and done with.
What?
The sheep are all there. Madam, sir.
What is this game?
That took me like 30 minutes.
I would not have gotten that. Place a building. Place a building. What is it? Just when you think it's like, you know, parts of this are pretty good, it'll pull something like that. The thing is, the like flat, if the scenarios aren't good, to me, like the flat cargo payment rates and things make it so that the... Is this any better?
What? It's very good for watching the trains go back and forth if you like doing that.
Yeah,
And,
but,
like,
I'd be super
with a
down
lot
for
of-
the sand. Sorry?
With like a lot of mods, you know, it looks very good, but the gameplay is, oh boy, it very much feels like the gameplay is very much second to the graphics, which it doesn't have to be.
No.
Right.
And like, as we know from the infinite and enduring success of TTD, like, we know that the gameplay comes first.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, Transport Tycoon is like immortal, and like it's not like those graphics are getting any better.
No. It's like fun pixel art, and you know, people try to do the high-res packs that always look terrible because they don't do enough trains, so you have to download low-res trains too.
And also, I just don't think they look as good. I mean, like, okay, you got like real high-res trains, you know, they still look like crap on the corners.
They snap
not like-
around, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. You know, you may as well just you know, just go with the low res stuff, and you know, it looks good enough. It looks fine to me. Anyone who says Transport Tycoon has bad graphics, I will fight them, because it has good graphics. God damn it, they're just small graphics.
Yes. This is very convenient that people will automatically make transfers, and you don't have to set up stupid transfer orders and everything.
That is a good thing. That is definitely a good thing to do.
That's very nice.
You don't have to do like a weird thing there. I mean, that's the nice thing about agent-based simulation is you don't have to like worry about that garbage.
Yeah.
Which is again that. Oh, go ahead.
No, I didn't mean to interrupt you. I was going totally off topic.
I was just like, okay, I'll give them credit for having agent-based simulation as opposed to, you know, whatever else. Although I mean, a statistical simulation would also let you have like bigger environments. I guess I don't know.
I feel like a lot can be statistical. Like, do agents for the people and then statistical for literally everything else.
This is true. Yes.
It's the same thing. It's like what made SimCity 2013. It's like sewage were agents, and they just bounced around your sewage pipes aimlessly until they found the sewage treatment plant.
That's kind of like how sewage works normally. You know, that's why you need to do grades on your sewage pipes.
But like electricity did it with power lines.
Now, electricity also does that in real life. There's a whole lot of them. They're like electrons.
Okay.
It's AC, so they don't even go anywhere. They just go back and forth.
Somebody is bringing up Lego Loco in the chat, and that was a substantial part of my childhood. That might be the all-time best. Just watch the trains go around game.
Honestly, yeah. You know what? I was always fascinated with Lego Loco as a kid, right? Because it had that yellow train on the front of the box,
Yeah.
right? And you couldn't get the yellow train in game, but I was convinced you had to do some secret thing, and then you get the yellow train on the front of the box. No, you couldn't do it.
I
They
thought you were
wouldn't let
going to
you-
say you couldn't buy it as a set, and I was like, yeah, you couldn't, but it was like, it was rarer here, but you could buy it now. Like,
Oh no, yeah, you
used.
have to like. I like the yellow train. I think it's cool as hell. I always wanted one. I never bought one. I could probably buy one now.
I was going to say, get
with
one
my
now. I bought
Dirtbag podcast money.
my, they had the Amtrak looking one, that I always wanted as a kid and never got. So when I was like, just after I got my first job, I just went on to eBay or Bricklink or whatever and just bought one with an extra passenger car.
It's hilarious that like Bricklink exists. It's like a whole website. It's like just like, oh yeah, this is like eBay but just for Lego.
Just for Legos.
And it's like huge. It's gigantic.
Lego bought it.
Really?
They now own their own secondary marketplace.
Oh my god! I
Which is
assume they
crazy.
kicked off all the guys making like Lego scale AK-47s and stuff like that.
They kicked off so many people. Like
Oh my
anybody
God.
like trying to sell instructions for other licensed things that Lego doesn't own. They like came in. It was really kind of disappointing because generally speaking, I think Lego's a pretty good company.
Yeah.
But they came in, and I have a feeling they got blindsided by their lawyers on this one because their big thing is like, no, we're doing this for the community. Like, the guy who owned it, one guy had owned it for a long time and then died and sold it to some private equity monster.
Oh my god.
And like literally, he just like up and died, and his family sold it. But that's the reason why it looked so terrible for a long time because he's just like, oh, it works fine.
Oh yeah. Well, it did work fine, and it did look like shit.
Yeah.
But like those two things are not mutually exclusive.
And then they fixed it in huge air quotes to make
Yeah.
it look more modern. And that was some private equity thing, and then Lego went and bought it, and they're just like, don't worry, we won't make any changes. And then like 6 weeks later, they shut down an enormous like gray market.
Narrator, they made change.
They didn't, yeah. But it really feels like, to me, the way they did it, like, one, very shitty, disappointing, but like it did feel like there were two different arms of the company, one who was wanting to buy it to like protect it, and the other who a month later was like, hey, you know, Marvel just told us that you guys are selling bootleg Spider-Man minifigures on a now semi-official like storefront.
Oh yeah, that was a bad. You probably should have bought that through like a succession of shell companies.
Yeah.
You know.
Not made like a proud announcement that Lego now owns this. Immediately, every lawyer from every one of their licensed properties shoots up.
Yeah.
God forbid Valve doesn't get a cut when you buy the instructions for the Lego model portal gun off of some random Dutch guy.
Jesus Christ. Yeah. So. Well, lesson learned. Capitalism is bad. Copyright is bad.
Yeah, super stringent intellectual property.
Bad.
Bad. Oh God, one more person to Glasgow.
Do you have a? Probably your issue here is you got too few buses running. That's why it's taking a while.
It didn't even tell me to make buses. It just said put a train station here.
Oh, nah, if you get more buses running, you will have more people. Especially if you got buses running on both sides.
Yeah, I don't
So
have
you
any
got more
buses on the other
transportation.
side. But this is at least like slightly more central to the town. Very segregated zoning town.
I was about to say they came up with Euclidean zoning like about 50 years before City of Euclid versus Ambler.
God, what the hell was that? It sounded like gunshots. I'm sure it was just
New
some
workers from the Highlands are
industrial like
remarkably
sound.
productive
It did sound like
slave away.
gunshots.
To keep them in a good mood,
I
make
didn't
sure
hear
they
you.
don't fall
Was
for
that
any
in the
kinds
game
of
or is that in
rebellious
real life?
activities.
In the game.
Precautionary
I
sedation.
was about to
is
say,
called
yeah,
for.
because it's like gunshots in
Whiskey
real life.
from the Western
Yeah, maybe I'm
Isles
not so
is
worried about it.
excellently
But
suited
gunshots
to
in the
this
game,
purpose.
something weird might happen.
Supply the city with cheap booze that pacifies the dissatisfied, so that subversive activities don't get started.
Now
Plunge
the,
into the wonderful world of spirits.
Yeah, I forgot what I was going to say.
Thanks
Deliver
to your
whiskey.
supply, no one will be left high and dry.
Manage vehicle. Can I like refit it?
What, a ship?
Yeah.
I don't know if that ship is good for passengers and cargo.
No, I need it to bring whiskey.
What's it bringing now?
Nothing. They just told me to put a ship here. So it's configured for
Without
steel.
fail, some of the whiskey oddly
It should
disappears in
be
transit.
good for pretty much anything.
Likely
It
that
should just,
evaporates
have,
out on the
if
open
it has
seas?
multiple
Is
compartments
it
and
the
multiple
legendary angel
cargoes, it
share
should just be able
that
to,
imperceptibly vanishes there?
maybe now that you're,
If it is, then the angels
now that the
must be
objective
awfully
has
thirsty.
happened, the distillery has just started producing whiskey. That's why you hadn't seen any of it before.
Maybe. But it's not making any now. Oh, maybe it's because this isn't demanding anything? So do I have to truck whiskey?
You might have to truck the whiskey. Yeah, you probably have to truck the whiskey over to, not from the distillery to the port, but from the port to wherever.
Ah,
I like that the I can't hear the voice. I like that they're like calling the angel share legendary, because like that's not legendary, that's like a fact. Like the whiskey evaporates in the barrel. It happens.
no, it's legendary. It's the stuff of legends.
If by legends you mean a major problem of whiskey production, sure. Much like the
A ship
legendary
sails through the
problem
locks of the
of,
Inner Hebrides,
like, I
rolling
don't know,
from side to side in peculiar
having not enough
curves.
closet space.
Word has it that cheerful singing
It's
coming from the steamboat
incredibly
was heard on
mundane.
shore.
Kinda. We're getting things a little stacked up over here. Do I have a road depot on this area? Kinda. You'll do for whiskey. Set it on my new route. It's even more dire than when I played this. I'm sorry. I'm trying to go find the ship with drunkards. Oh, it's a good thing. Find it. It's my ship.
Captain
Yeah,
Klein
yeah, I was
says the
about to say,
ferrymen
there's
are
only
very
one ship.
poorly paid. So they might have
There's only
occasionally
one.
treated themselves to a sip from the cargo.
It's my
That just won't do, of course.
supply the pub
If
with
at all,
whiskey.
then they ought to get drunk like self-respecting people do it.
Oh, I just
Inside a
saw
good
it was a
pub
question
where it's
mark.
nice
They gave you a
and
big
cozy.
question mark over your own ship. The only ship on the map.
Give me whiskey. It's still just carrying steel.
Oh my god! And there's a trick to this game sometimes when you're playing a scenario, is that sometimes you'll find a building that seems a little weird,
Captain
right?
Klein
Then
says
you know that's a building for an event later in the scenario. I think your problem is not that the ship. Your problem right now is either that you need a second ship, or that the game hasn't recognized that the supply chain is set up yet.
I think I'll just buy
Because
this.
sometimes it takes a couple cycles.
I love that on a game whose maximum speed still takes like a number of minutes.
Oh yeah, that's why using ships is so great in this game.
Please put whiskey on the boat.
It's okay. You have like an ass load of money. You can just have like just a line of 50 ships.
Speaking of Lego Loco, one of the sound effects when I just clicked on that was in Lego Loco.
Really?
Yeah. Just like, I don't know, talking about it opened my brain to thinking about Lego Loco, and that just like rocketed it back. Weird.
What I think is going to happen here is you're suddenly, maybe if you link the pub up to the supply, the network.
It
you
is.
will
It's
suddenly-
covered.
Oh, is it covered?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
See, it's
Maybe you
covered
should
by Chester.
probably add more trucks. How many trucks you got on the line?
I've got 4 trucks between here and here.
Interesting. Are they trucks that can handle whiskey?
Yes. Well, they're the only truck I have, so man, I hope so.
Yeah, that's true.
They're still, it says they're fitted for steel, but I think fitment is automatic in this game, right?
It is automatic, yes. you can restrict certain vehicles to certain cargoes if you want to, but otherwise, no, it just takes anything.
Weird. Alright, you dock up. Do you now know that you can take whiskey? Please? Please? No?
It might be after that ship.
I have a red warning icon.
Oh boy, yeah, that might tell you something.
Stations report the following problems. Nothing. What's the problem? Passenger stop. Oh. That'll do it. Okay, it may have been my fault after all. I forgot. There we
Oh, that'll
go.
good. It used
And-
to be you could drop off cargo at a passenger stop. I guess you can't do that no more.
Thank you, chat. It's passenger stop by the pub. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Still not giving me any whiskey, though.
Oh my god.
Oh, yes it is. God forbid that the trucks are asked to go and dump off some barrels at a shelter with a bench instead of a shelter with a pallet and a pallet jack.
Oh yeah, exactly. 1870s pallet jack, which I assume existed in some fashion.
I'd imagine it probably didn't look like this, though. I should have known by the bus icon. I literally saw that and was like, huh, weird.
When did they start using pallets?
I don't know. That'd be an interesting thing to look at.
It feels like something which might be relatively modern.
It feels like, honestly, I feel like nobody had any idea about any sort of like shipping standardization until hilariously recently when they're just like, oh, containers and pallets.
Wow. Skids, which is just another word for pallet, date back to ancient Egypt and ancient Mesopotamia,
Oh,
at least as far back as the first millennium BC.
I'll shut the hell up then. Jesus.
It's like you find a you're going through an archaeological site and you dig up an ancient blue pallet and you're like, wow, we could return this and get some money.
I had fire engines in the background. I'm sorry. It's way too nice at night to not have my window open. There's an arson a few blocks away from me the other day.
Oh, nice.
This is the second time there's ever been like a big fire near where I live. One time I was in college. I was living in NYU dorm, and a landlord who had done a like illegal gas line splice. They blew up a building. And it was like 2 blocks away from me, and I heard it and smelled the smoke. But I didn't know what it was until I looked out the window and saw the huge column of smoke. It just sounded like a truck hitting like a steel plate in the street really hard.
Huh.
So I'm just like, oh, whatever. But it was the building exploding. And I looked over and just like, my window was open. I'm like, ooh, somebody's having a nice fire. And I kept hearing helicopters. And I'm just like, what the hell is happening? I look out and there's this giant column of fire like a block away from me.
Oh no, it's a big fire, not a little fire. Yeah.
Nah, it was a big fire.
I had a fire on the other block a couple months ago. There was an auto garage that just caught fire one night.
That's right. I
And-
think we'd been there looking for beers or an ATM or something once, right?
We went to the bar next door that has the good Ethiopian cheese steak.
That's right. And then
Yeah, and they were out of commission for like a month after that.
yeah, that was
And then right after they reopened, the Roni hit and they had to close again.
God. The second that like travel's all cool again, I am jumping on the train and going down to you.
I just want to go to a bar. That's all I want. I just want
Thanks to
someone
you,
to serve
throats
me
are well
alcohol
lubricated all
from the
over
tap.
Glasgow.
Is this so much
But
to
on an
ask?
empty stomach, the water of life makes
Yeah, I
people
can't wait till this
anything
thing is
but
over. I'm
lively.
sick of this. This is getting
What's
boring.
required?
It's fun
A
for a little
sound
while. I like
basis
working from
in the
home.
form of solid food.
Yeah, working from
A
home
new
is
dish is
well, it's
currently
what I
on
already do
everyone's
because I'm
lips.
podcast scum. But
Deep
True.
fried fish with deep fried potatoes. What a culinary delight!
being
Help
able
this
to leave the
masterpiece
house
of
once in
British
a while is
cuisine
also
to
nice.
triumphant progress.
I want to just be able to
Your
like have
services
the
are
option
going
to travel
stuff the city's jaws
and not
and
like go to
provide
Amtrak's
fishing
website and have it
operations on the
scream at me
Atlantic
about how they're
with
not running
record
any trains.
sales.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, it's essential oil. Oh my God, do not do it. I'm just like, oh, come on. Let me book something. Cargo station at the fishery and connect it to Glasgow.
Now, this is something you're going to be able to do something nice here, is that rather than you could just reuse the passenger station, and since you built the freight station for the trucks so close by, you can just hook it up to the passenger station, add some freight
Flying jack, as they
platforms,
say around
and do the
here.
transfer onto
Lately,
the trucks
people have been
when
quenching
they're not
their
hauling
thirst
the whiskey
and
over.
staying dry at
That's-
the same time.
Very nice, actually.
Yeah,
That's good. This game does some things very nicely.
it does do a few things right. Yes.
Nice mixed station. So I'll just truck to train to truck again. We'll just transload the hell out of these fish.
Labor's cheap. You'll be fine.
I need to, after seeing in Urban Era post that thing with the salmon and the just tossed right in the train, I need that in a game. Gondolas for fish. Need it. Ooh, I even have
That would be a fun scenario for this game. Would be you're running some weird Alaskan railroad and you have to buy like used Forneys from the New York City elevated lines, which is usually what they used up there.
like, yeah, there's so many cool, interesting, like, short lines and, like, weird things that would be much better scenarios than invent fish and chips.
Yeah, exactly, right. It would make a lot more sense if there were a little bit more, weird railroad history and stuff like that, as opposed to. What I'm saying is make the game less accessible. It would appeal to more people if it appealed to fewer people. Now, what you're going to probably want to do is if you add some stairs to the side of the platform, it'll hook up directly to the freight station. You might have to do that at the Glasgow station. I'm not sure, unless it already covers it, in which case you're fine.
I'll have to check. I hope it does. Just think I need my signals. I hope I have room for those little stairs or whatever it is. No.
I think you'll be fine. Maybe you
Figure.
don't.
Cargo buildings, the little small main building. Okay, not gonna fit there.
There's a little stair doohickey in the platforms panel.
Yeah, I see that. How am I doing here? That still covers it. So the stairs just are another piece
It's
of...
another entrance, yeah.
Okay, it still covers it. It's a long way to schlep, but it still covers it. I'm good. Cheers.
Well,
Okay.
cargo travels instantly, so you're fine.
That's honestly, that's something that's probably fine.
Yes.
It is weird that people don't travel instantly, but cargo just totally does.
People don't want to think about like how cargo gets schlepped anywhere.
Like you
it'd
could
be
even just make it be people.
You could make it be people. You could make it be like a little like crappy horse-drawn carriage.
Or just like
You could make it be someone else's truck.
just people with a little hand cart, and they move one little piece of goods at a time, the way that a regular person just moves one person at a time.
Oh yeah,
That's not
that would
hard.
definitely work. Yeah,
Game. It's not that hard.
you could have a guy with a pallet jack. You could have a guy, or you could have little REA truck. Not that this game would ever talk about the REA.
God forbid, that would just be too interesting.
That would make sense. Yeah. We
Use
talked about how
tracks to connect. Is it going to make me?
Yes. Maybe you could build the station there. You could build the station at the fishery and then not connect it to anything. Or you could build the station and just continue to use the system you've already set up.
Yeah, to connect to fishery. Use tracks.
You can make no decisions.
No, apparently not.
You must do as I say.
You know what? I'm gonna buy the freight train first, and then
9999999.
50. We're going fast to haul these fish. Buy it. Put it on my same train route. Connect the fishery. It really is gonna make me. Why can't I just transload? This was fine and shows off one of the strengths of the game.
Nope. They're transload phobic, Jay.
Boo. Alright, game, are you happy now?
The fish
Are they
hatch
going to
in
let
the
you
Atlantic
fake it? That's the real question. Can
Yep.
you fake?
Yep.
on their own.
I did it, it's fine. I just need to deliver fish now.
The merchandise is even still fresh when it arrives in town.
Thanks to the railroad, the merchandise is still fresh when it gets to town. Now, this
We
railroad
tricked
that
the
I'm
German.
actively
German.
demolished. At least they didn't do the thing from the original Train Fever where the terrain would be, like cuts and everything would be kept.
A mysterious stone circle.
You know what?
is
I
going to
liked that.
transport
I
you into
liked
the
that
past,
feature a lot.
where you can help James
I was
Fraser.
unhappy
And
they
equally,
they
the
got rid of
stones
it.
don't
I like
reveal their
seeing how
secret to
I've
just
just
anyone.
ruined the
Prove
landscape.
that you are worthy of their wonders. How is this achieved? Well, that's written in the stars.
Oh boy, here comes the stone
It's the
circle.
stone thing. Okay, the solution is written in the stars. What the hell does that mean?
All right. I forget how we find the stars. No, you know what it is? Click the bus stations, which are racks.
Mysterious stone 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
And what's the current routing?
Oh god, is it really like not? Oh no, it looks like it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
So it's in order.
Yeah. The hell is
I think there's something somewhere that tells you what order to put the line for the mysterious stone line. Hold on.
in the
I will be.
stars?
I mean, step one is to look for a giant yellow question mark.
Yeah, right.
That's the solution to most of our problems.
Sadly, I do not see a giant yellow question mark.
And you also can't pan the camera up.
No, I can't.
Hmm.
Why is this not moving any fish? Why is my fish transload not working? God forbid I get distracted.
I remember what it is. You're supposed to run the line in a star pattern.
Oh, that's also dumb.
Hold on. I'm gonna be right back.
Okay. How do I? Do you not? You can't drag it? 5-pointed star. Yeah, it's a 5-pointed star. Thanks, guys. But I can't drag my stops. Move off, yes. Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Weird, 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 weird. Meanwhile, the game is just fine. Not having my fish thing work. Where's the broken link in my fish chain? I know these can carry fish. Where's my train too? I know you can carry fish. You don't, but I know you can. Why do this? It's gonna have 0 payoff. Because it told me to.
The secret of the stones has been revealed.
I got it.
Although they didn't teleport you back to 1746.
Alright,
It was
teleported
only
me to
to
last
Monday
Monday.
morning.
Ha ha ha. Good jokes.
Oh, good. You did it. We didn't have to worry about, like, what order it was, because I never figured out if it required a specific order.
I don't know, it just worked. It was a time-traveling circle that did exactly nothing. Correct.
No payoff. There's never a payoff.
So here's something fun and nice and weird. This stupid fish transload isn't working. It all covers each other. It's all wired up.
And could it be? Because I don't see why it wouldn't work the way you have it set up.
Me neither. So I guess it's time to rebuild the train station.
You could check and see. If you click the fish industry, maybe it's like still spooling up, or maybe not. I don't know.
Now let's make it 100 production.
And all the vehicles handle fish, right?
All the vehicles handle fish.
That was very strange.
It is strange. Right? Let me just make 100% sure all these vehicles handle fish. Yeah, fish. I thought so. Should work, but doesn't. So, train time.
All right. Well, I do like trains.
I've only blown 10 million 1880s dollars.
Well, you could go back in time using the time-traveling circle and make that be worth a lot more.
Good thing it brought me to last Monday, as the game makes just the most German joke.
You got bopped into last week. So,
What a weird
that's an Angry Beavers joke for you guys tonight.
guys who are too young to know what the Angry Beavers are. Horrifyingly. Alright, I'm doing this.
The last episode of Angry Beavers was never aired. You know why?
Why?
Because they made an explicit joke in the episode about how Nickelodeon at that time was consistently producing high-quality series and then canceling them so they could just make money off of the reruns and merchandise. The executives didn't like that one.
I can imagine. Not sure the first station was connected. The first station was connected. Right here. The way this worked with the trucks is that went to here. This I know is connected to this, because it's actually just connected to the side here.
Do you have to maybe transport the fish in gondolas?
I wish.
I don't think I'm not sure if that freight station is connected to the road there, near the fish factory.
It is. That's how the trucks are getting in.
No, I mean the freight station.
Freight
The
train station.
The freight train station.
Yeah, you're
it's-
right. That would have been
They
not
were
great to
fine
find out.
Yeah. I think otherwise that should be a fine supply chain.
There we go. Now I just need to find my boxcar train here. To the depot. Ooh, it turns around with a nice comedy whip sound effect that came off of a free sound effects repository from 2004 based on the audio fidelity. There's still no tracks in the depot. It's not that hard, guys. Alright, we're doing it.
Oh, there are no tracks in the depot. Wow. But there's other interior details, which is strange.
It's just a train depot. You don't need tracks. There we go. There's now fish at the fish place.
Thank God. We have solved world hunger.
Manage line. Remove all stops.
Do the fish come in 20-foot containers?
Line 8. Sell all vehicles. How do I delete the line?
Oh, you go into the line manager and hit the X.
Oh, I'm in a vehicle manager. There we go. Warnings. There are no warnings. Do the fish code. No, they come in wooden crates that are open. You can see the fish in them.
Oh, very nice. So I'm thinking once there's enough of them in a row, though, I think it'll turn into a 20-foot container. An 1884 20-foot container.
This is not going to be a good smelling train. Let's go. I want to see this 1884 container. Got their nice tanks.
The funny thing about so many things being visually represented as 20-foot containers in this game, no container trains.
I was just gonna be like, oh, it's because it's bad for gameplay.
They just take everything out of the container and they just break bulk it onto the train, I guess.
Like, oh man, I'm nominally a game artist for just like hobby shit. You've been a professional game artist. Like, surely it could not be that heavy of a lift to not have plastic containers as props in the fishery here in 1884.
Look, I know you're like restricted. You're restricted by time. You can't make everything period accurate, you know. But I know that like not everyone's like huge like nerd about like shipping, but you'd figure the guys running like the shipping game, you know, would be huge nerds about it.
Yeah, and could maybe do it. And like,
they did go through the effort of having passengers look different over time, but the cargo all looks the same.
That's so weird to me. And like, make these facilities look a little different. That's not that hard of an art lift.
I mean, it doesn't make a lot of sense to me, just based on, you know. Well, I mean, if you go through like all of this game, like all of it, and you know a little bit of history, especially about railroads or rail transport, the decisions in what to include and what not to include are just bizarre. They don't make any sense to me whatsoever. You know, especially like selections of selections of trains in general. There's also like enormous glaring errors. Like, say, the E60 comes out after the AEM7.
Really? That's dumb. I thought you would be like enormous glaring errors, like the cylinder cocks being open at all times.
Oh yeah, that is an enormous glaring error that infuriates me constantly.
We've gone through with Interurban Era and done like a this is what a proper list of trains for a game would be, and it's just so much better than this.
Yeah, there's I can't speak for the European trains so much, but I can definitely speak for the American trains, at least from 1850 to 1970 or 80. And it'd be like, if we have to bring it down to a short list, you start out with the 440. Don't bother with anything before that.
Thanks to
You go through
the industrial
260, what they have. They have a 260, they have a 280. Right, okay, so you got your passenger locomotive and your freight locomotive. You start seeing distinctions there.
The city council is grateful and has even proposed to Her Majesty Queen Victoria.
Okay, I'm drawing a huge blank up until like the early 1910s, once we get into like Atlantics and Pacifics. They only have Atlantics. They have two Atlantics and they don't have Pacifics.
Nice. Search the Discord chat. I'm sure you could find the full list because it's good.
Than anywhere else. Plains as fertile as the Garden of Eden.
I could, but like also that's
the
like
mountains,
tedious.
Untold.
Just search because I know the
perfect
what was it? The
place to make a
Timken.
Utopia come true.
Oh,
A life
The
of freedom.
Timken Northern was on there. You
Equality
can just
for
search
all.
Timken.
That's true. Yeah, I mean, we very rarely talk about roller bladings,
No.
roller bearings.
We talk about roller bearings probably more than most Discord chats, but I do think that you'll be able to search the 4 aces and get it.
Oh yeah, Timken 4 aces.
You have
yes.
just
Okay,
bought
I
a
got
patch
it.
of land from the Mexican government.
USRA 282. This was
Here,
with
your vision is
Miles
supposed
and
to become
Tom.
a reality.
A
Free
Weird
fair
Alco
society.
280. Oh, I like that.
Together with a few like-minded people,
It's a Rogers
you are going to
460
build
in
the city of the
1890.
future. in
Alco
Double
Atlantic in 1902. Not enough Baldwin in here. I want more Baldwin.
It shouldn't be
Homer.
all that difficult, since you've already built several railway lines successfully. Welcome to the city of dreams.
Turn down.
You set out to come here in
voiceover.
order to establish
Yes.
a society where no one has
Oh,
to suffer
this
hardship.
is a stupid
Everything
scenario.
will belong to
Oh
everyone
man,
and
this
be
one's gonna
available in
infuriate everyone, like
Large
just
numbers of
constantly.
men and women
Now,
want to join.
when I did this, I did it
Permission to build
entirely
their
with
dwellings
trains out of
precisely
spite,
according to their
Um,
ideas.
because this is one of the
Start off
few
by
ones
obtaining
where
the necessary
you're like
material.
somewhat able
Excellent raw
to
materials can be
freely
found in the
choose
surrounding area.
uh,
All you need to do is
what
get them
kind
into town.
of vehicles you can use. So I was like, I bought this game to play with trains. I'm going to play with my trains, and fuck you.
Somebody says, loving the Mexican architecture here.
Oh yeah. I love mission style architecture that looks like it came out of
Bavaria.
sort of what this looks like is it looks like it's very German, right? Which would be appropriate for Texas, I guess. It looks like who's the guy? Garden Cities of Tomorrow. Ebenezer Howard. That's what it looks like. It looks like an Ebenezer Howard Garden Cities of Tomorrow style development, which just popped up with the sort of German architectural style in Mexico.
Nominally Mexico.
Nominally Mexico, yes. Baja California, I believe, is where this is.
All right. So is it gonna? So you've scared me with your saying like the trains won't do it in this scenario.
Oh no, I did it entirely with trains.
Okay. So
This is one of the few where they give you the freedom to choose your own adventure.
and I will do the same as you and choose my adventure to have a lot of trains,
Yes.
as everyone should. All good adventures have a lot of trains.
If we were actually playing by drinking game rules that I suggested earlier, this would put us both in a dumpster by the end of the night.
I just want to place this at a slight angle, game. You're killing me. I'll just use the through station because there's no penalty for using the terminal station versus the through station.
Oh no, there's no like sort of gameplay mechanic that would make one more interesting than the other. I mean, I guess there is because you can do like a row system, like in Transport Tycoon, but also like
That's
the
not a
volume.
gameplay one. That just means that the terminal station sucks.
Yeah, the volumes you're handling in this game, especially in campaign mode, the volume of cargo you're handling is so low most of the time that it doesn't make sense to do like interesting large station layouts.
All right. 30 logs. What do I get in 1885? Hey, here we go. 440-280-260.
Thank God.
These are some normal choices. Wooden boxcar. Looks like it might be a composite boxcar. I don't know.
I like folks talking about the Yogs cast in the chat. I can't hear the music. I guess it sounds like the Yogs cast.
It's like mariachi stuff.
Ah, I see.
But like, not quite. It's like slightly mariachi, but like more violins than you'd usually have. And like harps. Famous component.
It's like you're on the bridge of the Starship Enterprise when Q shows up and just apparates a mariachi band on there.
Why does the 260 have so much more tractive effort and power than the 280?
Because they don't understand how steam locomotives work.
All right, Mogul for hauling logs. Let's do it.
Also, the Mogul is twice as heavy. More than twice as heavy. Holy shit. That's a lot of weight on those.
God.
Jesus
Didn't
Christ.
even know that. Notice that.
Oh my God. You know, there's a reason you have a lot of driving wheels, and that's because the locomotive is heavy. But I guess, you know, what do I know? I don't know anything about steam locomotives.
Driving axle loading, almost the same as the entire weight of the...
Jesus. Yeah, I was about to say, that's a chunk of axle loading right there. I understand the tractive effort now. I'm also, the boiler seems to be quite a lot larger. But it also like brings up the question, why even have that consolidation in there in the first place if you can just bring out this Mogul, which, you know, blows it the hell out the water?
It doesn't, like, if you want to have like a track weight mechanic, sure, that would be interesting. Right?
Yes.
You can do really cheap and shitty narrow gauge stuff, and like good luck with your running your Shay until 1975.
Then you could like have, it would make sense to build a big stupid stone bridge so you can run a big stupid locomotive over it, right? As opposed to like a light wooden bridge where you can't run the big stupid locomotive over it because it'll collapse it. That would be an interesting game mechanic, which does not exist in this game.
Oh no. I built my train line to the log delivery because it had the same icon when I should have been building a train line to the forest.
It's okay, you have $46 million more dollars.
Why would they even...
Money is no object.
Then just like put an infinity sign there, seriously. Why would they make money such, like, and this is the campaign too.
Because the only losing condition is going bankrupt, and they're trying to make it easy for you. But they can't like make it easy for you in a way that has like a coherent losing condition. You know, it's bizarre to me. Like they couldn't, you know, do the time limit or like some other stuff. Like again, there's the whole way this is structured does not make any sense to me.
But look at that. Look at the little train drive by. It's nice.
I do like watching the trains go by. I mean, I'm not saying I'm not playing the game or I'm not making mods for the game, which, by the way, Silverliner 2 came out today. I finally upgraded it from the first game to this one. But it's like the campaign is... Holy Christ.
I'm looking at a switch here right now. It's missing the points. Everything else is beautifully modeled. You got frogs, you got like nice track, but there's no points. You're just missing the actual pieces of track. Like, so,
That's the part that's very confusing to me. It also has a switch motor in 1885.
yeah.
Yeah,
But it's got the motor. It's got the places where the points would attach to the motor. They're just not there.
I always thought in the first game that's something they never quite figured out how to fix, right? But you know, they didn't quite get to that. But apparently, they didn't quite get to that in the second edition of the game
either.
Because well, they've dynamically generated the frog, right? Which I would think would be the more difficult part.
Yeah.
The points themselves, oh no.
God forbid.
Like, you know,
I wonder if that's one of their just like, oh, if we can't animate it, so like, who cares? Just put them in. Pick a direction.
I never thought the player would look at the points so closely. It's like, okay, I thought that doesn't even make sense because it's like German precision and stuff like that. You'd figure they'd do it, but they're not doing it.
It's such a nice job. Like the textures are nice. Well, they're okay.
On a game which is so intently focused on visuals over gameplay, you know, you would expect, all right, we're gonna animate the Switch, you know, because I don't feel like it's that difficult.
Probably not. The most interesting part of the campaign is that circle. I hope not. I'm afraid so.
Oh, that held me up for like an hour trying to figure out what the hell. We're gonna do this campaign in like record time, just because I know I remember
walk us through all the bullshit.
Yeah.
Guano delivery. Where's the guano source? Is it the silver mine? Oh no, it's
guano source on an island.
It's the guano warehouse.
Yeah. Guano is, you know, it's just bird shit. So
yeah.
Not that island. It's the other island that's closer in.
Yeah, I found it.
Okay.
Mariachi music is really doing it as this train comes delivering 4 logs at a time. You'd think when there's a deliver logs objective and it's like, oh, you have a train going back and forth, they could just crank log production for a little while.
No, they expect you to use trucks. I'm like, no, this is 1885. Everything is trains.
Some cows here at the cactus farm, and notably no cacti.
The cactus farm story arc is so
cactus.
Horrible. It's awful. It's dumb. I will tell you why. They're going to ask you to deliver guano to the cactus farm, which you may notice has no cactus. It has cows.
There's one cactus. I found one cactus. You'll see it.
Okay, I see. That's the one cactus. Now, the thing is, apparently guano, very bad for cacti. So that's just going to kill all the cactuses.
Which they'll only tell me after.
Absolutely, yes. I don't remember if that's a side quest or part of the main story.
Come on, train. I'm halfway done. It's literally just going back and forth, delivering 4 sticks.
4 tiny sticks on the back of this train. We wasted all the wood on building the train cars.
At least it's not a wood-burning locomotive.
Oh yeah, they're hauling in all that coal on like big stupid ships from like West Virginia. They gotta haul it around, like.
But
There's no Panama Canal. They gotta go all the way down to like Antarctica.
But look, it's a small smoke box and a diamond stack. It's a wood burner locomotive. They're just throwing coal into the firebox.
That's probably fine.
And by there, I mean the one guy in the cab still.
That's the one thing I mean, they don't really talk about labor relations in this game because they've already achieved one-man crews in 1885. I can't imagine how much work this guy is doing.
He's
shoveling
really
the
busy.
Shoveling the coal, he's manipulating the throttle, he's monitoring boiler pressure, he has to look out down the main line. This is more work than I can do.
He's checking the timetables.
I have to. This guy is like on like the spice from Dune. That's the only explanation. But like in early stages before you turn into like a sort of gross deformed monster, which would prevent you from shoveling coal.
Jade Skyler says they're going insane, and I think I might be too. This is such a weird game.
So I'm running a railroad under the terms of the Butlerian Jihad, and also one-man crews. Oh yeah, door hanger 93 says he's doing all this work, but he still hasn't closed the cylinder cocks. That's probably why he's too overworked. That's why the train's so underpowered, because there's one guy and he's like, okay, I need to save a little bit of effort here. Let me just not worry about water buildup in the cylinders.
So he says, yeah, he's got to climb down the train and do all the handbrakes too. Actually, no, he doesn't. These cars don't have handbrakes.
That's an oversight. Well, it's like 5 cars. You can probably handle that with locomotive brakes.
That's true. And they've got some pretty robust knuckles for 1885 as well. There's no knuckle on the Pilot.
Oh, that's oh god. Oh god. Did anyone in this game know about trains? I mean,
Riley Smith, thank you. Sorry, thank you so much for the super chat.
Yes, thank you for the super chat. I've never been on like the receiving end of that. I mean, I know obviously you're on the receiving end of that. I've never gotten a super chat before.
Really? You gotta stream more.
That's true, yeah. But it's also like I need to get my account like able to be monetized.
Oh, that's right. YouTube's not a big fan of that for you, huh?
Yeah.
Physical well-being, fun, and amusement are just as important.
Okay.
Make sure that the municipal facilities of Topolobampo are furnished with the necessary consumables. May health and a zest for life pave the way.
I can't hear the narration. Are they trying to do like a Mexican accent, but it's like German?
No, it's back to like the same guy, but he seems to just kind of be doing like a Scottish accent still, maybe.
Oh my god.
It's weird. So I don't know. I like the level of detail in this game is so weird to be missing stuff. Like it really tempts you, and the amount of detail and the texture resolution they put into all of this stuff. Really,
it looks it's very pretty until you realize it's wrong.
Yeah, but like, I don't know, I've been talking about this a lot with people lately. It's like, this sort of thing, it tempts you to look close. Mm-hmm. And on games where it tempts you to look close, you gotta spend more time getting it right. If this was a game that you played the entire thing from this angle, I don't really care, right? I'm never gonna notice the knuckle couplers or lack of brake wheels. But it's not. It's beautiful. You can get up close. You can see they did filigree on the tender. They got the right arch bar trucks under the like, it's nice. Then they just keep screwing it up.
To reference something even older than Angry Beavers. Well, isn't that cute? But it's wrong!
All right.
Two stupid dogs, I believe.
The hotel needs silver spoons, and the hospital needs tequila, I presume. Just alcohol in general.
I think it'd be funny if they like required colloidal silver.
Alright.
We're gonna turn some people blue.
Add a station. And here.
I think if you place the goods station, well, if you want to use trucks, which obviously, if we want to be stubborn and not use trucks, you had to put two train stations in. But I think you could do like a circulator route with trucks and catch them both in the same train station.
That's probably what I'll end up doing.
Engagement.
I need to depot you to add a couple extra boxcars for my round robin service. This game's smart enough that I don't have to go direct to deliver stuff.
Oh yeah, yeah. If you make like 2 stops on the same route with the same cargo, it'll reserve some to go to one location and some other to go to the other location. Yeah.
Is there a way to not make this new vehicle? Or do I have to manage vehicle?
Oh yeah, yeah. There's a button on the vehicle. You have to like manage the
Edit selected. There it is. Cool. Because I could probably get rid of some of these flat cars. Because we've never filled them up.
Well, now that you're serving 2 destinations, it'll probably fill them up more quickly.
That's true. I don't know. I'm just gonna go with two of each. A real nice mixed train, and I'll even.
Oh, I thought you were gonna go. Now that I'm looking at the line, you go out to the one station, you come back, and you go out to the other station. Okay, I thought you were gonna go out to the one, then come back into the town, and then go back to the first station, which would.
I'm trying to figure it out because I just realized I need to do the Silver Spoon Factory too.
That's right. Well, you can add another station on the line there, and I think you could easily do this all with one train.
That's what I'm hoping.
Yeah. So I think that's how I did it. Eventually, you will need another train, but if you do it all with one train,
makes me feel good.
Spite the developers.
Yeah, take that, jerks.
How I feel constantly when doing anything with this game. I'm at war with the developers, even when I'm modding it. Like I refuse to let this game be what you thought it would be.
So El Fuerte, and then I go here. And then Tobleman. The town doesn't need any wood anymore, does it? No, it can take wood still.
Yeah, I was about to say, you just pump up those numbers there. Make some dollar bills. Although you don't need to because you have so much goddamn money. Because there's no lose condition in this scenario, except the one they force you into at the end.
They want a streetcar now, though.
To be allowed to end up in front of the town's prestigious buildings.
How do I do a streetcar? Oh, that's how.
Mm-hmm.
Bus/tram stop. Nobody is really certain whether to use the term tram or streetcar in any game.
Well, yeah, because they don't want to say the right word.
Trolley.
Which is trolley, yes. Well, I take the trolley. Well, I used to take the trolley before the pandemic. I got my trolley back finally, which is nice.
I was gonna say, didn't they reinstate?
Yeah, beginning of last week, the 34 trolley is back. I still can't use it because I don't want to die, but
yeah,
I have the option now.
Man, in a weird way, I've been missing the subway. Maybe it's not that weird.
Yeah, it's
What the?
Not being able to take public transit has been just extremely frustrating. Because I have nowhere to go at all, of course.
Yeah, but just like to have lost the option and to hear about everybody driving around, like shut the hell up, guys.
Oh, Jay, you're doing the opposite of what they want. They want no stop by the hotel or hospital.
Oh.
You want to keep it out of those circles, yeah.
Of course.
Mm-hmm.
That's stupid.
Welcome to Transport Fever 2.
Damn NIMBYs.
Good lord.
Why would they want no stop by the hospital? That's so dumb.
Oh, well, you know, the objective is called, take a load off people's feet?
Yeah.
But the people who don't need that are people who need to go to the hospital. They can easily get there under their
Yeah,
own
it's
power.
no problem for them. Okay.
Oh
That's
my
my
fucking
warning. Line 1 has problems. I don't care at the moment.
I wonder if what if one of the devs is watching this stream? I would feel like bad, but also not really.
If any of the devs are watching this stream, I have a little spare time. Call me.
We're providing constructive criticism.
I'll help. Vehicle what? What do you mean vehicle unavailable at this time? Don't give it to me in the list. There's some nice stuff in this game. I'm not gonna just totally dunk on it the entire time. But
This is another thing which is a problem in this game, right? Is that you have the option of building tram tracks without catenary, right? But the thing is, for whatever reason, after about 1900, that doesn't make any sense to build tram track without catenary.
no, I've got
But
my
it-
diesel trams.
It will constantly reactivate itself for the rest of the time you play the game.
Alright, train.
You'll just build out a nice tram network, and you'll realize after you try and send the trams out, oh, there's no catenary. I gotta redo this whole goddamn thing now. Oh my fucking god.
Yeah, I guess if this hotel needs silver spoons and is 20 feet away from 3 huge smokestacks, one of which appears to be either off or fake, like that fake one on the Titanic. They're really concerned about poor people taking transit to the hotel. Why would the hotel not want transit?
Because it's like one of those snooty hotels.
The snootiest possible hotel I can think of is the Plaza, which is surrounded by like 40 subway lines.
That's New York City. That's different. I'm talking about a snooty hotel which isn't in a major urban area. You know, like some Miami Beach
Streetcar
bullshit.
is amazing,
I don't know.
except that it doesn't stop where people want to go. And thanks to advanced technology, the
Or
line
like
could
something
run
like
in the center of
something
town
like the
without horse manure lying around.
all the malls in like suburban Philadelphia who resent the fact they're transit hubs. You know.
What is advanced technology? Switch the line to electrical operation.
Now you can buy those trolleys.
How do I? But it doesn't. It just magically added catenary.
Did it?
Yeah.
Oh, I would have figured it would have made you upgrade all the streets.
Replace.
Now you already got it, yeah. So you can just replace all the.
Done. Easy. All right, train. How are you doing? Not that great. Oh my god. Got a lot of silver waiting here in dumpsters.
Isn't that how you transport silver? It's probably because it's only gone through the cycle once. On the second cycle, it'll pick everything up.
Thanks to
Gotta
the
do
miracle
my.
of electricity, now the streetcar can
I need a
service
train
all
to the
important
distillery
places.
now too. I forgot about
If
that.
that weren't enough with the
Oh, they
pleasant
also want you
fragrance, too.
to transport people to the hotel and the hospital because they changed their mind. Although I think they're already covered, so you're probably fine.
Yeah, I think I just activated that one without realizing, or completed that one without realizing.
Take a drink.
Transport fever, but the only transport you can build are urban freeways.
I mean, I've seen some, playthroughs on the YouTubes where it's like that's how they treat it. It's like, yep, gonna do this is a highway building simulator now, which I don't understand the appeal, of course, because We have better things than highways. They're called trains, which is what this game is about. Oh, there is one later on, the only 40s and 50s American scenario here in the game, where they force you to use only buses. Because God forbid we have streamliners. And
God forbid, yeah. Jesus Christ. God forbid, like 19...
like the idea of the scenario is like you have to drive the local streetcar company out of business. And I was like, okay, this is a scenario where I'm not supposed to build any infrastructure. I get what you're saying here. No, I'm gonna build exclusive freeways for my buses everywhere. I am going to build some goddamn stuff, goddammit, because this is what this game is about. I will not let you take this from me, game devs.
Wait. Oh, that's right. Yeah, I'm good. Just an all boxcar train. Now I need a new line.
That gondola is still missing a truck.
It sure is. Yeah, I've used it. I should check and see if it's... I think it has its trucks in the game. Yeah, it's got plenty of trucks in game. It's got
Has
more
it
than...
in game. Bizarre, it doesn't have it in the menu. I never noticed that before, but also like
This is not great. I have fucked up my signaling. These trains are gonna have a hard time with this. Yeah.
All right. Well, nah, I think you're good. Maybe.
They're not...
Oh no, you're not good. You're not good. I just
not great.
Yeah, because you can get through the station there. Yeah, if you get a passing siding between those two stations, you'd be good.
Why is this thing is like a jillion pieces of tiny track now? Why did it do this?
For reasons.
It's like little pieces of track, like 3 ties long.
Oh yeah, that's why I wouldn't do the passing siding at the station. I would do it between the two stations.
Oh, yeah, that would work.
That's one option. The other option you could do is you could do the passing siding at the station because you're only using it one way, and then you do a double slip at the end.
I'm gonna do the stupid option and put passing siding built into my Y.
Oh, now there's a
Now we're railroading.
now you're thinking with your brain head. Yeah. No, the real cheapo solution would be to figure out to just force the train into the depot on the way back.
That's a valid TTD strategy, at least.
You want me to build more track? Fuck you.
The real TTD strategy would be to get the train to park up at the depot, refit itself to become a different train, and then do the cactus run.
Yes. There's your strategy right there.
The hilarious thing is, like, having done a little bit of research into how we actually did railroading in 1886, what we're doing is, like, hilariously above board.
I was about to say, you know what else this game does not have, which it should? Is grain door boxcars. None of this open hopper for grain bullshit. You know it's wrong. I know it's wrong. It's not cute. It's not funny. Don't do it. Have some grain door boxcars if you don't want to have another model, right?
Dump them in. We need some ventilators. Maybe like... It'll be cool even, like, icebox. Or like non-mechanical refrigerator cars.
Oh yeah, you get like a big ice house next to the tracks.
Yeah, it's
right?
like, and you have to have this extra piece of infrastructure. Like, I think Railroad Tycoon 3 was the one I played most because I was a little kid. But like, please tell me that you're gonna be delivering. What?
They didn't have. Nah, it's got to run through at least once.
Run through.
Flippers anything.
It's dropped off the.
Oh.
Okay.
Maybe I don't know what's going on.
It's spooling up. It's making the alcohol. But it's just sitting here in their courtyard and not going to my train platform.
Well, do you have a truck that goes from your train platform to where it's needed? Or is it?
I think it just jumps. Oh no, the train station serves. Okay, no, I don't. I need a truck. Of course, that's a tram depot, so God forbid I can buy a truck with it.
They're like two different things, even though they're like, it's like it's. God damn it, Jay! It's 1887. Don't you know how specialized coach building was in 1887? You can't just build a truck and a tram in the same spot with the same tools, even though they're both horse-drawn and basically the same thing.
All right, road depot time. You know what's really nice? To be putting this horse-drawn truck in this city that I just had to do the special mission to, like, electrify all my shit. This one's a Conestoga wagon, too.
They're only concerned about the poop from passenger horses. Freight horses, they know they can't do anything about. It's not like they ever transported freight by electric trolley. That definitely is something which never happened.
See, that's what I need for a transport game. I would like Transport Tycoon, but you're running freight on the Chicago L into the late 70s.
Yes, and beyond. We're going to keep this economical.
That's the scenario we need. Here's your rapid transit network. You get access to it on weekends and between like 1 and 4 a.m. Do your interurban freight. Jerks.
Yeah, exactly, right? The customer doesn't have to be there for the freight to get picked up. You close the system down for 2 hours at night and just take an ass load of trucks off the road. Did you get both the hospital and the hotel in range?
I did, but my hotel was actually the last building in range of the train station.
Okay.
They would haul boxes of silver spoons this far, but no further.
Oh my god.
So my little truck circulator will do.
Are they
just
using
fine.
like silver spoons as like disposable spoons? Is this what I'm getting out of this?
Well, they only need 40, and they seem to come packed 1 per crate, with, I assume, just a shitload of 1887 packing peanuts.
That's just sawdust, yeah. Just sawdust and wood shavings. I'm just hauling around an assload of sawdust and wood shavings. 1 silver spoon in each crate.
This is the first game to definitively cause mass depression.
This is
Oh my god, we're about to run out of space to store cacti here.
This is a post-scarcity economy is what this is. Where you can just deliver crates of silver spoons and then like throw them in the river afterwards.
They're souvenirs. They're stamped with Topolobampo on them. We sell them for $4 a pop at the gift shop. This game would be 10 times more fun if it had an additional speed.
If it had another speed, that'd be nice. If it had if the scenarios made sense, that would also be nice. Hey, the one thing is you can do some relatively complex train operations in this game, although it is difficult to do so. But you never really get that, and I'm sure if we continue doing this streaming series through the whole campaign, we'll get to the Deutsche Bahn one, and I will just fucking start screaming and black out in that one, because that was one of the most infuriating things I had played.
I'm down for this. I've got nothing better to do on weekends in this quarantine.
The fundamental needs of the community are provided for. Even more is being produced than the colony needs for itself. To enable prosperity to
The other thing which is frustrating is, it'd be nice to be able to create some of these scenarios on your own, right? Because
Earnings from the export trade would be helpful
what they
in these
have is
crucial
powerful
days,
enough to make
because several
interesting and
decide which
compelling
commodity
stories,
you want to export
but
overseas for the benefit of
y'all
society.
are not going to be able to figure out how to do that with the instructions they leave you, which is nothing. It's not like, again, Railroad Tycoon, which had a very powerful but also very intuitive scenario editor. This has nothing but Lua.
Ooh. Do I export 30 alcohol or 60 silver spoons for the good of the world?
I would go with 60 silver spoons. You'll make more money.
Silver spoons from the legendary
Because it's more
silver mines
things.
in the Sierra Madre are going
Although,
to be a major
which is
export.
easier to build a line to? That's the other question.
I already have it. I just literally need to set up a truck stop to this silver spoon export house.
I see. Oh yeah, that'll do it.
Bonk. Truck stop. New line.
There are simply too many bachelors hanging around on the streets of Topolobampo. It's enormously detrimental to productivity. That's why you should see to it that their rambunctious ways
God,
are
everybody
tamed.
just starts talking at me.
What better way than the responsible task of starting a family?
I've got to start a family now.
Oh, okay.
What?
You're trying to un
When people
Fort
get
McMurray
married,
this
they have
place.
children.
I've got to bring 10
and they
people to the
become
romantic
law-abiding
viewing
and
platform. It's just a
straight-laced.
bunch of park benches on a
You ought to
cliff.
help out a bit on the
Yes.
subject of romance,
Yes,
so that it
I
won't
did
be
this
long
with a
before
trolley.
wedding bells are ringing.
Because just out of spite.
It's got to be a rail vehicle.
Yes, exactly.
I'll do the same. I'm not.
They want you to plant 10 trees too. I'm sure that's gonna make a difference. I'm not feeling it tonight. Oh, there's 10 more trees here.
Ooh,
Oh,
don't mind if I do. I was just about to compliment the road building system, and then it does this on me. So I have to be like, some things aren't so bad, and then it does that. Crap. I do like the electrified trolley tracks in the dirt road. That's actually prototypical.
that is true. Yeah, it's very Pittsburgh. Well,
It's
actually,
very
no.
screwing me over for Presidio Bay as well. Man, almost couldn't believe this. Cable car tracks in the dirt road. How do you prevent that from gunking up with crap instantly?
You're only maintaining what the city makes you maintain. I refuse to conform. I am a Randian Superman. I will not maintain what the state does not require me to maintain.
Alright, I'll do this just to shortcut you. Buy vehicles. Line 6. Alright, people, let's go to the romantic lookout point. Where do I plant? Where's the tree planting menu? Is it in terraforming? Assets? Yep.
I don't even understand how a makeout point works in a trolley. It's like, what, do you have to like ask the driver to turn up the traction motor so it's like wheel slipping, and then the heat fogs up the windows, but the driver's still there, which is also weird. This doesn't make a lick of sense to me.
No, of course it doesn't. Whee! Look at this. This will be really nice. I'm sure it'll be popular and profitable right up until National City Lines buys it.
You put a theme park up there. Put a Six Flags up there at the end of the line.
I'll put 6 flags if they have flags. Do they have any flags?
I don't know
Ugh.
if they have.
The search appears to. No flags. I was gonna put 6 flags at the top of the hill, but
Yeah, I'm going to Six Flags. Oh shit, how was it? Oh, it turns out it's just Six Flags.
Literally Six Flags. I believe, and if I'm not mistaken, one of the Six Flags is the Confederate flag.
Oh god, Six Flags. You know, there's like a weird like scandal about Six Flags and the Penn Central Railroad.
No, that sounds great though.
Oh god, I mean it's not as bad as like the executive jet airline that they bought, but like there was this whole like the Penn Central was just absurdly diversified throughout its existence. Like they just kept trying to tack on businesses to make up for the failings of the railroad, and they just got involved in weird shit. They owned most of Six Flags. They owned 25% of the New York Knicks and the Rangers.
I knew they got the Knicks and the Rangers, I believe, as a deal to put Madison Square Garden on top of Penn Station.
Yes, I mean at least that makes a little bit of sense.
Yeah.
So I've been going through the wreck of the Penn Central. That was a hell of a.
I need that. I just started Men Who Love Trains in earnest after having it be a stand for my alarm clock for like a year and a half. So once that's done, and once this Corona shit is over, I'm coming down to Philadelphia. We're gonna hit some bars. I'm gonna get a good Ethiopian cheesesteak,
Yes.
and then
Yeah.
I'm gonna steal a copy of Wreck of the Penn Central.
Well, one of my friends, June, who was on the podcast recently, said her boss said, this is all going to be over by September. So if you can't trust, all right, now that I've associated one with the other, I can't say who the boss is. Shit. Big Philadelphia developer who doesn't get stuff done, ever. You can't trust them. Who can you trust?
We'll see. I have no idea. Some Penn Central merch. Yeah, I've got some tired old t-shirts. I need to go get that. There's some guy who just sells like great unlicensed Fallen Flag Railroad merch.
Ooh, yeah, I think I know who you're talking about.
Get a Penn Central shirt. I want a solid cold reefer like sweatshirt.
Oh yeah, I want the solid cold reefer. That is the greatest design, I think, of that era of railroading.
Oh, it's awesome. I ripped
so
it off.
dumb.
I've got cold standard cars and city skylines. The real story behind Solid Cold is even better, because like you got to know just how badly they screwed. Like, it was a hugely successful campaign. Then some new executive showed up and thought, you know, it'd be better if we painted them gold and named it Solid Gold. And they did that, and now they went bankrupt.
I thought they started with it being solid gold, but then someone just like they saw the design on the whiteboard and they were like, what if it said solid cold? And then everyone applauded.
Because I'm not sure, and now that you're making me think about it, because I know one of them, maybe the orange ones.
Eventually change it to real cold. They did eventually change it to real cold.
Maybe that's where I'm getting confused then. Because I know
It's
that.
like, you have a successful marketing gimmick. Like, come on, guys. What are you doing?
But I know that they screwed with it. But I think you're right. And doing the real cold was the exec meddling stupid thing.
It could also, I mean, I don't think it was probably the marketing what that took them out. I imagine it was more like, the general reluctance of the railroads to handle refrigerated freight, because God forbid they be required to deliver anything on time.
Also due to the Penn Central.
Oh boy, now that would be a good scenario for transport fever. Would be you got to deliver the main potato crop.
And here's what you're given: 400 broken ass E units.
Yes.
And 150 standing derailments a day.
This would require some kind of Selkirk yard mechanic. And the other thing is, of course, Selkirk Yard was not where the standing derailments were happening, but that was where the loads were left to freeze.
Here's what you do first. You get the entire map is the Selkirk Yard. You click on the scenario, it opens up, and it gives you 10,000 question marks, giant yellow question marks. And you have to click each one trying to find which are the potatoes.
You have to figure out. Yeah, it's not that hard, guys. It's the big box cars that say State of Maine products on them, and they have a chimney on them because there's a heater in there. You could fit Selkirk Yard. You could fit Selkirk Yard in a Transport Fever map, no problem, right? Because if you have like the real big ones, they're like 24 miles end to end. You know, so you could do like Selkirk to like some smaller yard. Do some selective compression there. And it's like, look, you need to get these cars through this yard in this amount of time, or you die.
Or your railroad ends. Thanks
But
for
the
playing.
other thing is, of course, we don't have a rail yard mechanic whatsoever. We don't have any kind of, you know, like way to simulate a rail yard. Certainly, like, there's no. Again, it's not like there's any scenarios with the failure condition in this game, like unless you run out of money.
This is painful. This poor guy's going up the list.
Honestly, like the kind of the find the potato cars scenario almost sounds like something more. You remember 3D Ultra Lionel Train?
Oh my
Town?
god, yes. That's the next drinking game, stream game. That was
sounds
a
like
good game.
that was actually like a really good game.
That was a dumb game. That was a good game.
Dumb, but it's also like, I don't know, it's Lionel Train Town Deluxe. Do you want some intelligence here, or do you want trains and aliens and shit like that? And like, I don't know, you have to like build a train through a kitchen. You have to do all kinds of stupid. It
was the
so
fun stuff. It was like when they're just like, here you are on Mars with an Alco RS3. Have fun.
Yeah, and then like a alien spaceship is trying to zap the track in front of you, and you have to like bring out the big hook, and like it repairs the track that the aliens just destroyed.
Constantly getting in each other's hair. And there's no end to the children's hollering.
It's like I feel like that game shaped my general aesthetic sensibilities more than anything else.
Somebody asked, is Gramercy ever coming back? And I want to say yes, but Presidio Bay is taking a lot more effort than I thought it would. We're still almost there. We've recorded all our dialogue for episode 1 and are going into shooting now with basically a finished map. Basically, watching Franklin and making Presidio Bay made me angry at how inaccurate like my map was shaped, because I was just like building my neighborhood and everything. So I want to rethink it and try to do it more realistically, but that takes a lot of time, and I need to make Presidio Bay first. So maybe, I don't know. The stakes were 0. Love was short-lived. Brand new parents are getting in each other's hair, and the children are crying. They wish they had the bachelors hanging around town. Haha. Hilarious.
Congrats, you ruined the fucking town. You turned it into Fort McMurray, but worse. There is a Fort McMurray scenario. I think it's the last one, and it has the most disappointing end imaginable. It just made me so goddamn mad. You know what else?
What?
You'd think Fort McMurray would have a lot of trains in it. Oh no.
No trains. Here's a crazy thing. Why'd they bother with like the airplanes and boats and stuff for maps this size, or even like the 20-mile long huge maps? Like,
there's a couple maps where they made the airplanes work pretty good, and like they have, you know, because you just sort of have them fly off to abstracted cities, you know, and it kind of makes sense then, right? You know, but the other thing is, no, you're right. Like, why bother? They look nice. The airports are hilariously condensed, of course.
as you have, like, again, like 24 miles long. You've got runways that are 20% the length of that.
Yeah, and I mean, like for like a condensed, 24 miles long is if you're like a 5-to-1 megalomaniac sized map, is what they call it, right? And you have to like enable special flags in the config in order to access that size of map because they assume your computer can't handle it, which it probably can't. But the situation is like the way this game is designed, the amount of effort that's gone into trains versus everything else, you would think they would use them more in the campaign.
Weird. I just saw here that my makeout point tram stop is Broadway Street.
Oh,
infuriating.
It's not Broad Street. It's not Broadway. It's Broadway Street.
Broadway Street.
I'm sure that exists somewhere.
Infuriating.
That's got to exist somewhere in real life.
I'm sorry, you guys are gonna have to walk home. Everybody who I just stranded up here.
I don't know. They're not telling you to get rid of the line. I wouldn't get rid of the line. I'm sure that's well, I guess I don't know if it's making money now.
It was not making me money.
Yeah, you could probably like rebuild that with a shallower grade, you know?
Yeah, that might be smart. Classic, Mexican Broadway Street.
Some mariachi band shows up.
Somebody asked, does Franklin and Gramercy exist in the same universe? They sure do.
They do, in fact, yes. I've mentioned Gramercy several times in my series.
I think we I at least try to, and I think you do as well, just because it's kind of fun. Talk about other people's things. So it's like, we talk about the earthquake in Presidio Bay being felt from LA to Portland, which in City Skylines terms is like, what, Springwood to Aramore or something like that.
What are the other East Coast cities? I mean, I guess Prez is doing New Windsor.
New Windsor, yeah.
It's sort of like New Haven and
Providence.
Providence is the big one for that one, right? Yeah. And then other East Coast cities is, what's his name? Is doing a sort of Halifax thing.
Yeah, Timbuktu.
Yeah,
that's
Timbuktu.
been great. That's one of my favorite series on YouTube.
That's a good series.
He's just he lives there and has just thought about it. And it's like, it feels so right.
Oh yeah, it's like it's a good series.
And he's got the accent to back it up.
Halifax is a beautiful city. Highly recommend everyone visit it. You can go see some. You can go see. You can go to the Citadel there, and you can see some hilarious Canadian propaganda about how they kicked our asses in the War of 1812, and it's just nice to see it from another perspective, you know. Also, every day at noon, they they shoot a cannon out of the Citadel, right? And it's pointed directly at the Scotiabank building, which is fun.
Mm-hmm. I need more silver spoons. This is maddening. There's gotta be a way to speed this damn game up.
There's gotta be a way you can get like it can't be more than like 2 trips.
What do I need to carry the silver? What do I need to carry the spoons?
One of the problems I think with this game is it's difficult to identify where bottlenecks are, just because of the way that the cargo system is designed, which is that, you know, factories will only produce the amount of cargo that can actually get to market.
Yeah, that would be nice.
It's not like transport fee, not like open TDD where it's like, you know, okay, you can ship any amount from point A to point B and from point B to point C. It's like, you know, if I ship X amount of cargo A to point B, then the factory has to convert that to cargo C, and then I have to be able to ship it to point D. And if I can't make that whole thing work, nothing's going nowhere.
Yeah, I mean, it's really easy to figure out where you screwed up in TTD because you just go and look, and there's 100,000 passengers sitting on a platform somewhere, and you're like, oh.
So in some ways, it's more difficult, I think, just because then you don't know how to like modulate how many trains you actually need to pick up 1 million passengers at this one station. But in other ways, it's like that's easier because then you're just, you know, you can pick up any arbitrary amount of passengers.
Oh my god, kill me! It's putting... Everything is done by line here, so I have 188 silver waiting to go to the Silver Spoon factory on this mixed train, whereas I have a brand new train just to carry silver that isn't even half full.
Oh yeah. Welcome to Transport Fever.
Good. I'm glad this train's coming carrying 1 silver spoon.
God damn it.
Whole thing ratting all around here. 3 boxcars and 1 silver spoon tossed in. It's a shell game. If you open the right boxcar, you get to keep the spoon.
It's, you know, money hole problem, this whole thing.
Oh my god, that was a $3,700 silver spoon delivery from 3 blocks down the road.
I was about to say, that's a chunk of change right there. I mean, consider that's $3,718.89. Plus, it's Mexico, so those are pesos.
Alright, line
The
1.
other thing is that you can't switch currencies, I don't think. I mean, maybe you can, but I haven't tried.
Line 1 has lost its silver. Do you need to do anything from there? No, line 1 is just going to become wood. Yeah, wood to the city, wood to the mine, wood to the city, wood to the mine. Great. Yes. Bring stuff, please. Seven more silver spoons. This is killing me. Do I ever plan on doing more retro trains and planes, like 60s through 80s? I sure do. I have an almost done retro metro. That it's one of those things where it's a good project when I'm bored with doing 1900 stuff. It's nice. It's a state-of-the-art car, which we'll have for cities soon.
State-of-the-art car is good. Oh, what else is from the 60s? Well, they already did the Paco cars, which are, of course, the superior subway car.
I have done the Paco. I need to fix them, though, because I screwed them up because my blueprints weren't very good.
They're a little tightly coupled at one end, I noticed.
Yes, that's the problem. Those were originally done, so the backstory for those is I wanted a cool, like, retro future thing because Avalon Fluxus series was going to be like a deco retro future. So I'm like, I'll give you these Patco cars and I'll couple them real tight so they look all streamlined.
I was never certain what that series was supposed to be. Now,
It was really weird. He ended up making quite a good, like, sci-fi kind of cyberpunk dystopia, but kept talking about how great it would be to live in it the whole time.
that was my impression, yeah. And I was like, no, I would not live here.
Yeah, he's like he built this huge interchange and built this park. He's like, yeah, it's a really great little park here underneath this, like, 400-lane freeway interchange.
Fantastic. The export business is on target.
Maybe not.
Only very
Tell you what
few
I've been watching
prefer looking
recently
for
is City
corals
Walk,
and
City
being
Walls, Mars series. That's been
That's
fun.
extremely good. He's
Some
doing
fun.
Precautions
Yeah.
should be
incredible
taken,
work.
others don't do the
Big
same.
dumb building
More
based off
exports mean more
Metropolis,
prosperity, too.
the
Yep.
old
And as a
movie
result,
film.
more
You know, it's like,
satisfaction for
oh
the
shit,
whole
yeah.
colony.
I thought this was a
People
good series.
prospected
Now,
too greedily,
yeah, this is a
too
good
deep.
fucking series.
Who knows what they aroused in the darkness? In any case, the shaft caved in.
I think it might have a
The
jam
remaining stocks
potential
of
on that
manufactured
Y.
goods shouldn't go to waste. The Mexican population is
Or
grateful
not the
for
Y.
those kinds of handouts.
Where the
You don't
line
end
to
up
the
with nothing to
cactus
show for it.
plantation splits off. You got an extra signal there that might cause a jam at some point.
Do I?
Yes.
Yeah, I guess I don't need this guy anymore.
Instead of
huh?
using all the alcohol solely for medical purposes, special guests could be served a small glass of it too. As they say,
Oh, this is the part where they're gonna make you demolish everything, right? Yeah.
A Mexican market vendor, Senora, thinks there might be a good chance of nabbing some halfway
Find the
between forest
highlighted
and the
area
salt.
south of
If
the
you are.
forest. Which direction is south? There's no compass in this game. Oh, here.
This
And dig to find worms.
you gotta follow a clue too. Exciting.
Oh my god, it's expensive. I'm digging. There's water.
Our informer is certain. We're still here a moment.
Highlighted area on the
But the
riverbank
worms
near the
seem to
city
have
for
disappeared
more
just as
worms.
fast. Give it another try at the river.
What is up with this game? What am I doing digging for worms in my transport simulator?
You're gonna go full you're gonna go full Louisiana
Truly
French
the
redneck.
speediest worms in all
Just
of Mexico.
digging for
Maybe
worms.
you'll have more luck
Night
at the
crawlers.
seaside by one of the many bays.
Northern bays. What is happening in this thing? I don't know why I'm still like surprised that this is just weird as all hell.
Aye, aye, aye.
Oop,
You
there we
finally
go.
caught them, the speediest
Finally
worms
caught
in
the
Mexico.
speediest worms in Mexico. Apparently the
Wow.
silver mine collapsed, but it's still producing at a pretty incredibly high rate.
No, yeah, there's no payoff for anything ever. Like nothing they say in the text ever reflects the reality of the gameplay.
Sell the remaining. What do they mean? Sell the remaining stock too.
No, yeah, that I think you can click it and it's like
It's the market. Oh, I just need to wait at the warehouse. This is the warehouse. Sell all 90 remaining stock. What 90 remaining stock?
I think they got 90 units of each of the doohickey at the warehouse, and you gotta like transport it somewhere.
Which
you know,
which
this is-
direction? This is a consumer.
Oh, well, maybe you gotta.
So I
so you gotta bring it from somewhere else to there.
But I've got.
You got these whole lines that are set up, and they're making money, and like all this shit. Yeah, no. This is. You will do as we say.
I've got to do it backwards now to a place that only wants to buy 90.
You will sell at the warehouse.
Oh my god! Why game? I don't want to sell to the warehouse. I forgot to build a truck stop over here.
Good lord.
At the very least, I'm still just doing shitty horse-drawn carriages. Alright, so 90 of those, and now I need to... Oh, that's convenient, actually.
I will be right back.
Okay, I think I'm gonna be... Once I beat this, I'm gonna be wrapping up. There we go. That should hopefully take care of that. Oh god, we ran out of worms. Call the train company. Yeah, exactly. Sorry, I've been a little slow on the chat. Nexus, you dying for some new retro things like an L1011? Yeah, I really want to. Again, it's just so much of my asset creation time has either been on like really retro stuff, as in Presidio Bay 1900 stuff, or modern kind of experimental things like the new subway train with the upgraded with the voice acting and everything, which was honestly just kind of experiment of how to do different stuff for Presidio Bay stuff. So it's all been based on that. I'm gonna get to some 60s and 70s stuff eventually with Presidio Bay. That's gonna be a little while as these long haul kind of series through time happen, but we'll see. There's lots of cool stuff that I want to make sure we can do. Really hoping some deliveries will come to here. Yes, they do, thank God. Why did that stop for there? Oh, it's because that's all one block, huh? Fireworks, that's not good. I hope they're fireworks.
I am back.
Welcome back. I'm selling the remaining stock. What that means? Who knows? Nobody knows.
You could still keep running the trains to make the money the other way the whole time. It's just you had to deliver whatever amount to the warehouse. You know, continue to split the supply chain.
Yeah, that's what I did. I just sent my alcohol train, which was running empty straight past the Silver Spoon factory anyway. Just now dropped Silver Spoons off at El Fuerte South.
There you go, yeah.
Somebody's asking, is Big Mood Energy's city, which is Washburn, by the way, in the extended universe? I don't know, because I don't think it has a specific reference place.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Well, we could ask her.
We could definitely ask. She should be on one of these streams when we do one next time. We can make fun of Transport Fever with more people.
We could get all kinds of people on, you know, because this game, this fucking game.
I'd be down. Until this quarantine ends, I'd be down for a few hours of streaming.
Yeah.
Every few days, playing dumb train games and making fun of them.
This is the first scenario that we're playing right now. This is the one that made me mad at first.
This is not great.
You haven't gotten to the mad part yet.
Really? I was hoping I'm wrapping up, because this has been such fucking haul.
Oh no. This is like, you know how all the side quests had no payoff. Oh, this
Am I gonna have to rip everything up?
Ask me no questions. I will tell you no lies.
The weird thing is, this would be a much better game if they limited the scope and just tried to improve what existed instead of trying to expand the scope with each sequel and like reinvention of the series.
Yeah, also if like you could make like more open-ended choices about how to do things, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to feel like I'm completely like guided in all of my decisions.
Yeah. Hey, it'd be nice if the, just Railroad Tycoon style, one main quest, connect to Buffalo before 1885.
Yeah, exactly.
And then
New York, Buffalo. Okay, and then there's some side quests, I guess.
But you super don't have enough money to just blast New York to Buffalo.
Yeah, exactly. And there's a couple intermediate destinations you got to do. I mean, which is something this game, as it's set up currently, outside of campaign mode, you're more than capable of running the game that way. And the weird thing is there's basically no scenarios that work like that in the entire campaign. There might be one or two, but it's not like okay, you have to put yourself on a firm financial footing in order to extend your rail line to the goal, but you want to do that as quickly as possible, right? Which is, the obvious sort of like structured play to this kind of game, right? It's simple, it's easy, it's not like a hard concept for people to grasp, right? But instead we have this very, very strange series of disconnected goals which exist in every single scenario, which don't relate to each other necessarily, and it's frustrating. It's very frustrating because I think this campaign could be very entertaining and engaging, and I think instead they have a very strange sort of, I don't know what to call it. The only way I can describe it is a choose your own adventure game with no choices.
Yeah. It's so... I'm having fun kind of with just how bizarre it is. And how they give you infinite money on all of these scenarios. Like,
you need to be able to riff on it,
I'm just doing the instructions they give me.
Yeah.
And getting trains stuck finally.
You will do as we say.
But like, restricted money. I've been hemorrhaging money this entire time, but it's fine because they give me $50 million.
Yeah, that's the other thing, right? You're not pressured to make a profit, like, at all. You're not running like, because it's difficult to run profitable services in this game.
Just look at any other like great tycoon game or management game where it's like Roller Coaster Tycoon. Here's your stuff. Here's the stuff that's invented at the start of your scenario. Here's the stuff that like you can fund research or whatever. But the key thing is it's literally just like have 700 guests in the park by the end of year 5 and never let your park rating drop below 750.
Yes.
Awesome.
It's clearly defined lose conditions, which is, again, I
Sucks
think
to
a
be
big
this guy.
problem with the game is there are no clearly defined lose conditions for basically anything.
Please just sell more stuff. I guess I don't... This train can just only go back and forth here. No, wait, because I need it to bring those stupid spoons.
One of the things which is frustrating when they ask you to, move this small quantity of stuff is it doesn't make sense to upgrade your infrastructure to move it, right? It's more like, all right, I'm just going to wait because I don't want to go through the effort of like running 3 more trains because I have to do that through the whole system in order for that to make sense.
Yeah.
And one of the fun things about this game is running a shitload of trains, right?
Yep.
Running a big network with a shitload of trains, and it's something which you absolutely cannot do at any point in the campaign mode. Hey, there's a couple where you got like a big pre-built rail infrastructure, but I think that's one of the Goddard Tunnel scenarios has that.
Did they bring that? Because that was in Transport Fever 1. Was a build the Goddard Tunnel.
Isn't built? I think this one you already have the Goddard Tunnel. I mean, it's always like the awkward dancing around World War One, thing that they do. Like, oh well, we're gonna talk about World War One, but it's World War Two. But it was a neutral country. Which again, I don't know why you need that disclaimer. Like, you're not exactly showing like anything controversial in this game to anyone at all. Like, okay, we're not seeing like there's a scenario in China in the 50s. You're not showing the horrors of the Cultural Revolution. You're making us build 3 buildings to scare sparrows away. Right. Yeah, but you have a whole scenario set in Romania, and it's like, okay, this is where, you know, the bad stuff in Soviet communism happened. You're not even gonna tell us about that. You're not even gonna talk about the least controversial thing you can, which is that Ceausescu was bad,
You're just
which I
so
think most communists would agree with you on.
There are so many stories and like different little pieces of transportation infrastructure through history that would like earn that little disclaimer that we have
Yeah,
at the beginning.
there's nothing in this game that warrants that disclaimer,
And those would all be more interesting gameplay than what we have.
except insensitive treatment of indigenous people.
That's what I was gonna say. Is literally the reason why they have that disclaimer. It's just completely manufactured, right? They brought that on themselves. They wanted it.
See to
Yeah,
it
it's
that
it's
no one
it, it's
notices.
it's bizarre. It doesn't make a
It's the
lick of
only way
sense
to
to me.
enable
It
more advanced
Oh my
technology.
God.
it
To venture
need to
a
be
completely new
there.
start in the future.
What? Erase the traces?
Yeah. Yep.
Really?
You only need to demolish a couple blocks in order to fulfill this condition.
Just of the city?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Why?
Because it's dumb. It's so bad. It's so
Gonna
goddamn
bulldoze
bad.
some of these various streets. Nobody can know I was ever here except for the successful interurban rail line that I'm going to continue to have.
When I did this scenario, I was making a shitload of money at the end, and they're like, it's a massive failure. It was bad. Demolish everything, and it's like, no, it wasn't a failure. I'm making money. People are happy.
Oh my god, stop rebuilding. I saw it. It said erase traces 100%. They're just building the streets all back. I'm doing it. What's happening? They're just building the roads back. What is happening? Oh, there we go. I had to bulldoze one stop of my thing.
Paradise by the Pacific, never to be seen again. You did your best, but the time wasn't right for your path-breaking ideas.
What do you mean the time wasn't
What
right?
a pity.
What is happening?
May the
When I
children of
knew
the future
something was
encounter
up.
more fertile
This was when I
conditions for
first
establishing
when I
free and
played
fair
this game.
community.
I started doing the campaign, which is the first thing I did, and I knew, oh boy, something is up here. This is gonna be a thing, and it's just gonna keep getting dumber, and it does.
Oh, God. All right. Return to main menu.
At the turn of the century.
Trans-Siberian Railway will
Tsar
be
Nicholas
next time.
Mankind-
Get the shots lined up.
For real. It's 11:15. Oop, that's not gonna work, huh? Oops. Let me just zoop. Much better. All right. Thank you for being here for this 3 hour and 45-minute long stream. I want to make this happen more often. This was fun.
Get excited. Next episode, we're gonna click some bears. You want to see us click some bears? We're gonna do it.
All right. Thank you all for watching. Presidio Bay very, very, very soon. Check updates on the Patreon if you're subscribed. If not, probably still check updates. I'll make some of them public. But yeah. Thanks everybody. Thanks for being on, Justin.
Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for having me on. I have enjoyed this a lot, going through it the second time, and like knowing it was exactly as bizarre as I remember it
It's
being.
so weird. Anyway, it's fun as hell to stream though. So we'll do more. We'll click bears, and then I'll figure out how to find Lego Loco and make it run on a modern computer.
Oh, that'd be dope.
I think Lego Loco had a campaign. I don't remember. I don't know.
Send mail to your friends with the train somehow if you had internet.
We got lots of stuff we can do. We can do Cities in Motion 2. We can do this. We can do 3D Ultra Lionel Train Town.
We will start a Lego Loco pen pal ring.
All right. Good night, everybody. Have a good one. See you soon.
Good night, everyone.
Bye.